my name is Rafa Esparza. Many of you know me as a friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, but that's not all I do in our sport. I'm a jiu-jitsu commentator, broadcaster, photographer, meme maker, analyst, writer, coach, tournament producer, and occasional athlete therapist. I know, it's weird. I've worn many hats in jiu-jitsu, but the one that I cherish the most is serving as a host. We have done some incredible things over the past 4 years on this show, but starting this Tuesday, we will roll out a brand new experience for fans of the Grappling Hour. Going forward, we will be offering 2 membership-based offerings. Tier number 1 will give our fans early access to my interviews. Tier 1 members will have the ability to see my interviews a month before they're released to the general public. And as a topical show that has a track record of being the first destination for some of the biggest names in our sport, you won't want to miss out on those. Members of this tier will also have access to audio versions of this show in the event that they don't want to see my face, which I totally get. Each month, subscribers will get to see 4-hour-long interviews. Tier 2 members will not only have early access to my interviews, but they will also get to see brand new content that will not be available anywhere else. New premium content includes bi-weekly podcast minisodes. These episodes are designed for the grappling superfans who want in-depth discussions with our guests on topics ranging from greatest losses to opponents that competitors respected the most. Topics will be explored for limited runs, anywhere between 4 to 10 weeks, and will give the featured guests on each episode an opportunity to share the type of unique insight that either gets lost or overlooked in most other interviews. Drill Sessions, a monthly segment where friends and guests of the show will share short videos of the techniques and sequences they're currently drilling in their gyms. Swept Under the Mat, never before seen behind the scenes footage from the Grappling Hour archives, and short videos and vlogs from the coverage that I do at various MMA and grappling live events. Members will also be treated to show bloopers and occasional clips of my own training sessions. There's also going to be a live chat dedicated to members of this tier that will answer questions ranging from just about anything you guys want to throw at me. And finally, members of this tier will also have the ability to pitch mini-sode episodes and occasionally submit questions for upcoming guests. To become a member, head on over to hi.page/Grappling Hour. You can also find the link for that page in the description below. Now listen, I know there are a lot of you who may not be able to afford these subscription tiers. That's why it's important to me to still offer some content for those people who want to support the show, but may not have the means to do so financially. So for you, we're still going to offer a condensed weekly version of the show. That show will give you the first 10 minutes of my interviews, and a month after that episode is released to our early access and premium subscribers, they will be unlocked on our YouTube page. In return, all that I ask is that you subscribe to us here on our YouTube page and that you continue to like and share the content that you enjoy on our page. I know money is tight for everybody right now. The last thing you want to do is thinking about having to invest in another subscription-based service. But I hope that you see the value in the types of interviews that I do. I hope you see the consistency of my coverage over the past 10 years, and I hope you see the overall vision that I have for this show. I have never been short on ambition. And for the next phase of this show, I'm taking a pretty big swing. So with that, I'm going to need some support. I hope that you'll come with us and help us become an even bigger and better show. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for even watching all the way to right now, even if you do nothing. It's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats. What is up, grappling fans? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, Rafa Esparza, and we are coming to you live from Milton Arguello's Mixed Martial Arts Academy. We are watching us some ADCC trials. I'm very happy that you are joining us here today. Chris, I see you. We're going to bring you on in just a second. I just want to go ahead and do a couple quick little placeholders. First and foremost, hi, how are you doing? I hope it's well. How are you feeling today? You know, I feel like $1,000,000 because I actually got sleep. And if you thought yesterday was good, today going to be better because energy, pace, and I think we figured out a system. I think we have come up with a way to keep up with as much as we can. We actually have the Flow. Oh, nope, it's blinking. They have an updated board that we have on one TV, and we have the 8 screens over on the other side. Now, I have been told a rumor that they are going to try some new stuff over at the Flow Grappling. I've heard a rumor that they're going to try and do a red zone like broadcast. I wonder where they got that idea from. I wonder who could have possibly given them that idea. Like updating mats and telling you. I mean, no. Flow Zone works great. Don't get me wrong. But like, doesn't, like Flow Zone wasn't even here. Flow Zone didn't even pay attention to the first wave of people. They're there. They could literally tell you, hey, listen, 8 different mats are happening right now. That's the time to use it. You know when Flow Zone is not available or useful? In the finals. Swear to God. Anyway. So yes, we took our time to get started this morning so that we could prepare ourselves, because Flow doesn't actually give you the opportunity to space out the different brackets. I had to do this from my computer, which is also streaming this broadcast, and also streaming my things so that I can watch the TV. Anyway, here's what I'm going to say. We have a friend of the show joining us right now, and I'm hoping that this works. Yesterday I was giving us some resistance. We looked at it right now, but I want to go ahead and say hello back to friend of the show, one, Chris Paglu. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing really well right now.
All right. So how are you feeling, sir? How are things going? I've been trying to keep up to date with as much as possible, but I'm a little bit behind this morning in terms of what's been going on. So what has happened that you have seen, sir?
Okay, so I've been screaming in my house way too early in the morning. So first thing, just to get it out the way, again, of course, I'm completely biased. John Calstein moves on, 30-second heel hook. I think the fastest sub so far today at 66. He is moving on to the round of 16, and we're waiting on Cameron Malot versus McClendon to finish up here for his next opponent.
Awesome.
It looks like it's about to be Cameron Malot. It's pretty close on the sub there. We had Ethan getting a sub win over actually, Ethan won by points against a very tough kid, Joey Chandler, I believe is his name. And he will be meeting up with Julian Espinoza, who got a sub over Joey Deal in the next round. And I'm really looking forward to that match. I think a lot of people don't really know who Espinoza is. I feel like he's not as well known as guys like Ethan. And I think that's going to be a really exciting match there. We had Gianni Grippo taking against another very tough guy, got the back take at literally the last second, 30 seconds left on the clock to move on. He is facing Dorian Oliveras, the B team wrestler. He took over a sub over Suraj Budrum in the overtime period. He got a rear naked choke. We have Emilio Hernandez moving on against Sojo. I'm not too familiar with him, but he got a quick sub. We have Keith Krikorian getting another rear naked choke over a very young Josh Flores from Vanguard. He's about 17 years old, so there's no shame in that. He looked really good. He has a bright future ahead of him. Going against next Reese Lefevre from New Wave, getting another submission win. Him and Keith are going to meet in the next round. We have Sean Weisenberg meeting Fabian Ramirez in the next round, another old training partner of mine. That one should be interesting. Sean's looked really good. He's gotten a few sub wins. He won his last match by sub. We have DeAndre Corbet getting another rear naked choke. This one was a one-armed rear naked choke against the New Wave Mahia. I'm not super familiar with him. Actually, no, he's not from New Wave. He's from, I don't even know where that is. But he was actually listed as one of the top 16 guys. I think he's up and coming. And we have Gavin Corbet. Actually, there's one more match at 66 that hasn't gone through. Gavin Corbet won his match by leg lock, and he's probably going to face against David Stoyle, who's going against Andrew DeGraff in a match that might be happening right now. And that's pretty much all at 66 coming up. A lot of good matches coming up in that top 16.
It's been very interesting to watch all of these things transgress. And I want to give a shout out myself. We saw friend of the show. I mean, let's just get biases out of the way. Like 100%. Bobby Winther, I saw him beat AJ Alcazar. And I was
AJ lost?
AJ lost.
Let's go, Bobby.
And it's so funny because Bobby's such a sweetheart. Yesterday, I texted him and I was just like, "Hey, man, good job." And he
You got a
stops.
new fan.
Well, of course, and no, but Bobby, he's a friend of the show, and he did this thing where I was like, "Hey, man, yeah, good job," and he's like, "Hey, man, how's the podcast going?" I was like, "Who gives a shit? Go win." So I like if there's any indication that good people can win, and he was taking the battle outside. Okay, so let me ask you this: yesterday, was there a blackboard, like something that was posting the names of where people were on mats? Because there is today, and I
the
wasn't sure.
the bout board on the bottom right.
Yes.
I believe it was popping up in Flow Arena, but I don't think it was where it is now. I think they're trying to make it a little easier to follow, I guess.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. The thing is, this is how you know Flow is driving me crazy. Is that I'm sitting there and I go, "Were you here yesterday? Was this thing here yesterday and I just didn't see it?" And I think to myself, you know what? I got a lot of stuff going on. There's entire possibilities. I just didn't catch it. But instead, I'm sitting here at home being like, "No, I don't think that was there." So there's one part. Part two, I'm glad we were able to get the 4 different stream versions of things going on because it does make it easier to put it
Oh,
onto
very
the
nice.
TV. So I have 4 and 4. I guess the other question is, as I'm watching this, what else have you been seeing? Like, what else have you been watching in terms of that? Because you mentioned a lot of the guys, and I think in the 66 category, which I know is your assignment, but was there anything outside of those
Yep.
categories that you were able to see? Because, dude, here's the hardest part: keeping up with all of this. I'm like, some of my friends had matches yesterday when I looked at social media, and I was like, "Oh, you did? Oh, I didn't see that."
You
And
missed it.
good
Yeah.
lord,
Yeah, I've been watching. I saw Big Dan get a few subs. I fully expect to see him towards the end of the heavyweights. He got a lot of easy submissions. We got an 88 J Rod's moving on. Stanley Rosa versus Sean DeMarco coming up. That should be a really interesting one. A lot of people sleep on Stanley, which I don't understand because he always goes so far at trials, and I really don't understand why people like never give him any kind of due. They don't mention him in the big names in the tournament, and Stanley always does very well, submits people. He's very violent. So Jacob Couch moving on at 88. We
okay.
have William Tackett moving on. Jason Rao gets a inside heel hook submission. Another friend of mine. I'm very excited for him. I really want to see. Jason's another guy similar to John, where people know who he is. He just hasn't shown his like. I've rolled with these guys countless times, and I know how tough they are. And it's really just I feel like everyone goes in the gym and rolls with them. You'll see them roll with the best guys in the world and submit them multiple times. And then you see them compete and they do well, but they don't do what they were doing in the gym. And he's another guy that I really think could win this whole thing and do well at ADCC if he shows what he has in the gym.
That's fair. And you know what's funny is shout out Amanda Levy, who also just advanced. Like
Nice.
that's how funny this whole thing is. Is like you take your eyes off of it for a split second, and you're like, oh no, that makes sense, and I know that was going to happen, but also we should acknowledge it. Okay, great, congratulations, and moving on. So I see some friends down the line. It looks like Elliot Kelly, I think, is on mat number 8, and I think he's in a heel hook. So we're
Oh
gonna let
boy.
him try and get out of that before I come
Oh,
back.
I'm watching. Yeah, he has a match with Braylor Grout, Keenan's student, I believe.
Yes. And shout out to D Stolisu. I know that we had Bryn yesterday who was asking a lot about them. And I think Elliot is out. So that's a good start for him. I'm looking down here. I see Ramos is coming up. Cruz is going to be back on mat number 2 in a little bit. And then looking a little bit further, we have, I think they
Oh,
just
we
went
have
to
a
the next
back
stage.
take. We have
Jay
a back take in
Rocha.
that last one of 66. We just got a back take in the overtime, looking to secure points
Ooh,
for
nice.
McClendon over Cam Malone, who I honestly expected to win this match.
Damn, yo. Yeah, you're right.
And
McClendon, that's on
that's
mat number 4. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead
and
and get
that
an
will
IQ for
be
that.
winner of that will be John's next opponent.
Okay, so I know you're watching very intently on that one.
Yeah, I've been
Sears,
texting back and forth and screaming very loudly today. So
are you screaming while texting? Because I wouldn't advise that. I hope that you take a
uh,
moment to scream. Go back
Oh,
and
I was
talk to
going nuts when John won. I just started screaming, "Let's fucking go!" And then I texted him, "Let's fucking go."
Well, there's nothing quite like that. So here's what I want to say. I want to give you credit for texting the right version of that because there's
Let's
nothing.
duck and go.
No. Because there's nothing scarier than somebody who wins a fight and who screams out, "Let's fucking go!" And I'm like, no, you did the thing. You did it. We're done. There's no more place to go. So when you yell out, "Let's fucking go," the next thing
Well, we got
logically
more
is
matches.
murder.
We got more matches. We got more matches.
Sure. That works in this context. But when people like win a championship and they go, "Let's fucking go," I go, "Where? No.
Let's go
No.
party at that point.
That's better. I like that. But if somebody
We
says,
got blood on the face. We got
"Oh,
a bloody face in this Helena Craver versus I don't know who
oh,
this
you're
girl
right,"
is match.
that's on mat number 5. Mat number 5. So I see Rocha over on mat 5. That's coming up. Also, J Rod coming down the pipeline. I know I mentioned Sears. We'll get back to her in a minute. And then I'm looking. Oh, Alex Grandy is coming up on mat 3 very shortly, going against 10th Planet's very own Camacho as well. Jacob Couch coming up on mat 7 very shortly. Trinity Pun and Laura Kent, friends of the show, on mat 8 coming up very soon. So everybody keep eyes on that. You think the action is stopping. It is not. It is madness continuously. So I want to make sure that we are doing that and keeping people abreast. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let you get back to work. We're going to expect a call back in a little bit.
Cool.
But sir,
Absolutely.
please pace yourself because I need you to make it through the rest. You have to pace yourself. You know what?
I can't.
I don't need you to be like, "Let's fucking go to bed."
No, I'm just gonna. My heart's gonna explode. I'm usually there, and the energy is matched by a lot of people, so it feels more normal. Here, I'm just like alone in my basement and screaming, and I'm really upset that I'm not there. But circumstances didn't allow, so
Hey man,
I'm okay with it.
you're a grown adult with grown adult responsibilities, and sometimes you got to take the L. But you've been helping
Very
us,
important.
so their loss is our gain. And I hate to say this because I know it's not something that sounds aesthetically pleasing, but it is true. John doing okay, man. Like things are looking very bright, and if he keeps doing this, like I think at the very least today, let's just say this: John is assured the credit that he deserves because so often he's slept on and people forget, and it's like, don't forget, man. Like this isn't just a dude who won a while ago. This isn't just a dude who does good instructionals. This isn't just a dude who's like, I'm content just chilling over and teaching classes and being a beast as an instructor. Like he's still actively, competitively fun to watch, and I think
He's one of the guys, man.
So I just wanted to make sure that we take care of that. All right, sir. I'll see you in a few. Feel free to give us a call back in a little bit. All right.
Sounds good.
See you then.
Bye.
All right, guys. Woo! I am appreciating you guys for joining us here today. I hope that you are having a good day. We are going to continue watching all along. So yes, it is hard to keep up with every single one of these things that is happening right in front of us. But I want to make sure that you guys are paying attention to everything that is in front of you in terms of this whole dude. I mean, look at this, man. This is an intense day of action. So feel free, chat at us, tell us what you're thinking, what you're feeling, etc., etc. We are here for a very long time, so we are not going anywhere. And if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, hints, allegations, you know where to find us. We are the easiest people in the world to talk to. And I like having some friends because I got to be honest with you. It's 7:24 in the goddamn morning, and I am here at the gym not working out. Allison O'Connell and Watkins on mat number 7. Let's put the advisory on that one because that has been a pretty solid match so far. So we'll keep you guys updated on where that goes. And I am making sure that you guys are aware. I think, did that just happen on mat 8? Laura Kent, the amazing, the awesome, on mat number 8 right now. Jay Rocha was on mat 5. I think they just finished that out. And D. Ramos is on mat number 2. All right, so keeping you guys up to date with that. I also want to make sure that you guys are seeing this. If you are following us, let us know where you're following us from, because honestly, I don't even know. Sometimes I just go, oh, damn. I didn't know that people were paying attention on X. I didn't know that people were paying attention on Twitch, because that's usually, I think we see a finish over on the Ramos match. So it does look like on that one, it does appear that Ramos is going to advance. I'll come back and let you know. Yep, I think that is the case there from Renzo Gracie. And continuing on, I think right now on mat number 3. Mat number 3. Nope, I don't see it. Yep, mat number, looks like maybe I got my 3 and 4 mixed up on this one. Grandy, friend of the show, is coming in hot. My man, easy takedown right now. Beautiful to watch. Excellent work right now. Let's put that advisory on mat number 3. He is always worth incredible violence. So very excited to see how he is playing and doing his work right now. I want to tell you guys, feel free to go ahead and, like I said, like, comment, subscribe, all of that good jazz. You know what to do with us. And feel free to hit us up. All right. So to my friends here, I just wanted to point this out. If you are watching along with us, you can also go ahead and play along in our Discord. We have a Discord that is dedicated just to the ADCC Fight Companion. You could also join along in our Discord for this. Oh, Bobby Winther's coming up on mat number 6. It looks like it says 2 6s. What the fuck is wrong with them? Okay. Cruz, Elder Cruz is coming up on mat 2 very shortly. Jason Rao on mat number 2. Looking to see down here, I know we mentioned William Tackett is coming up on mat number 7. Mat number 7. Bobby Winther, as we mentioned, mat number 6. And Ethan Krellenson shortly thereafter him as well. So just so you guys are aware of what is coming up and how it is getting portrayed and transgressing. So that's what I got for you guys. We will keep you guys up to date. I'm going to do a couple quick posts. I have to say, dude, I gotta post this this very, very awesome photo that we have seen on the interwebs from one Cody Steele. I think it is perhaps the best photo of the whole event so far. Like, I can't emphasize enough how good this one is. And I think the weirdest, I have to bring this up. We'll go ahead and do a quick screenshot here and bring it into the broadcast just so you can see exactly what I'm referring to here. But it is an odd sport for this reason. I don't know any other sports, and maybe I don't pay attention to every single one of them as much as I should, but I don't know any other sport where you take a moment and you get this this element, if you would, or you get this thing where you go, oh, I wonder what it's like when you have a big moment in the sport. I wonder what you should do. And in our particular case, when you see somebody do something quite epic, like I think we can all agree, Cody Steele, what he was doing yesterday was incredibly epic. There's a slight weirdness for one reason, and I'm going to get to that right now. But the weirdness that I'm speaking of is one that you kind of look at and you think to yourself, does this happen in football? Does this happen in the NBA? Am I not paying attention when it is happening over there? But you guys can tell me. And this is what I am going to address with you all. But when you see this photo of Cody Steele, and I'm going to put on the camera here. Amazing photo, right? Love it. Epic. Amazing. If you look at this photo, right over here, great photo. No credit to the person, so we got to talk to Cody about that. But then at the very bottom, there's a hashtag or an @ to OnlyFans, and it makes you think, do you see people do that in the NFL? Like, are we shouting out, hey, big shout out, OnlyFans? Are we seeing that in the NBA? Only in jiu-jitsu. Only in jiu-jitsu, my friends. So shout out Cody Steele. Very proud of you, my friend. And look forward to seeing what's coming up next. Elder Cruz should be on mat number 2 right now. Elder Cruz should be on mat number 2. Yes, I do see him now, and he is in a big scramble. He is working to pass, so very excited to see that. Bobby Winter is now on mat number 6. I'll put the advisory because he's the homie. Bobby Winter, mat number 6. He looked great. Bobby Winter got a win over AJ Agazarm. In case you missed that, that was awesome to see. So you love it when the local homies are making good on the big scene. He's up against Dorsey. And I'm going to point this out right now. There's another match I think I wanted to make sure you guys are aware of. All of these things happen so fast. So if we don't keep up with them, you can get behind. We mentioned that other friend of the show, Lauren Sears, on mat number 7. She is currently, it is tied. It is tied 2-2 right now. Rosenbro is also on mat number 1, in case you were wondering. And it does look like Bobby is in a little bit of trouble. Dorsey looking to try and take the back here. And he is starting to try to isolate the arm. He's working. He may be just slightly high, but he's correcting. He does have a body triangle on Bobby Winter. He is squeezing. I don't know what it is looking like underneath the chin. The ref is checking Bobby. And now, I think, is that homie ref? I think he's patting the dude on the back. That is not a homie ref, but it does look like Dorsey did get the win. Oh, no, he did not get the win. He was stopping them. Okay, so he was stopping them. I just wasn't sure. Yeah, we've been used to at this program, in case you haven't seen. There was one ref, and I won't name names because I don't know it, but there was one ref that kept touching people and going up to me like, hey, what's going on? So when you see somebody who's touching somebody while they're going on, it has not been unusual to what we have seen in this broadcast. But instead, he was telling them, like, hey, touch, I need to move you back to the center of the mat. And Bobby is fighting out 2-on-1 on that net control. He does get out of it. And here's the good news. No points. So Bobby gets back up. Very exciting work. Devontae Johnson is up here as well. He is on mat number 1. Devontae Johnson is on mat number 1. We do have friends in the broadcast booth right now. Our director, Octavio, is here. When he gets a moment, I am going to ask him to take over the airing of the multi-panel for the streams, meaning the 8 different broadcasts here, because it's going off of my computer at the moment. And I thought, I'm going to fully cop to this. I thought when I was setting it up today, I put the mats in order. I clicked them in order. It did not appear in order. I don't know how Flow continues to do this, but when I go, I want 5, 6, 7, 8. So 5, 6, 7, 8. It literally went like 5, 6, 7, 8. And I go, what is this? Why is my mat 1 on the bottom? It's a hard day. It's a hard day, guys. I know, first world problems. Dorsey still trying to get this back control on Bobby Winter. He is close to a body triangle right now. Bobby just shakes this off, and it is very impressive to see. I hope he does not go for a leg lock here. He is basically peeling off those grips. Shout out J-Flow. I know that is the group that they work with. And turns right back into him, but he does get taken down in the process. He's right back up, and I will say, I think they're in points now, so he needs to be very careful about giving up anything. Jacob Couch is now on mat number 7, in case you guys were wondering. Jacob Couch on mat number 7. Looking fairly good. I think they're going to reset Bobby and Dorsey, and they're going to restart him. 2 minutes to go. He has a grip on the waist. ADCC, notorious for really making sure that you get your points before doing anything. And I see here now, we got friends of the show, Ryan Aiken, coming up on mat 7. David Garmo on mat 8 in a little bit. That is down the pipeline. Down the pipeline, you guys, just to make sure you are up to speed on it. So, I am keeping an eye on out for you, and it does look like there are a few folks who have sent in notes, and I will get to them as it is going. Just calling. We've exceeded the maximum number of streams, so I think it's going to end up killing me out here in a second. That's okay. Just kill what you need to kill. I'm going to watch as I watch. No, there is 8 happening at once. Dorsey pushes Bobby out of bounds, which I guess it just depends on ref's discretion, because sometimes they're like, go for it, and sometimes they go, wait. We need decorum here. Decorum. All right, I'm going to kill this. Interesting. Maybe I have to kill my... I think you're looking at the replay ones. Was I thinking Matt 6? Yeah, close on Matt 1. Then it says Jason versus Clay, Nicole versus Autumn, Sophie versus Caitlin, Matt 5, Bobby versus Elijah. Holy fuck. Instead of showing me what the matches are, they're giving me a commercial while a match is still going on. Oh my god. I don't want to play your stupid dumb games. Also, I could see the graphics not matching where they're supposed to be overlaid on this thing. You know, when you have a friend that's competing, you want to see that. You don't want to see sleeper picks commercials. Great. Now I saw that dude got points. They're off the mats. I have no idea why. I can see Mike Kalimbus just going over to shoot with his camera phone, which I guess is exciting. Okay, good. This is, I think, the hidden carnival aspect of our sport, which is that they're just kind of like, yeah, fuck it. Let's just let him go. Jake Watson turning his back and just watching it. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I think this is too weird for like an actual sport aspect. Sweet. It looks like we have a new friend joining us right now. Serotonin has been tasked with letting us know what is happening in some of the women's divisions, and I'm glad to welcome her to the show for the very first time. Ladies and gents, please welcome new friend. Get to know her, Sarah Tony. So hold on real quick here. Sarah, how are you doing today? Hold up. For whatever reason, it's not putting you in. I will fix that right now. Hey, Sarah, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Very well, very well. A pleasure to have you joining us on this beautiful Sunday morning. All right.
A pleasure to be here.
Unfortunately, friend of the show, Bobby Winther, is actually out of the competition now, but had a hell of a run. Very happy for him. All right. So you have been tasked with keeping up with I think it was the negative under 65 division.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like you're always the most interested in the divisions that you compete in.
You know, honestly, there is a genius of this design that we created, which is we have friends of the show that we try to keep towards the weight class, because I think you have some vested interest in how this goes. So you were
I've like competed with probably a good half dozen of the girls in this division, so you already kind of know their styles and what to look for and stuff.
I love it. I'm a huge fan of that. And more importantly, thank you very much, Octavia. It looks great. What's really great about this is when I get that kind of that insight into it, you get not only their ability to know how they compete, what they do, but sometimes, especially when I'm sure you can see the mats are chaotic, it's trying to keep up with so many running.
I'm watching in the background right now, trying to stay focused here. They're going crazy.
Yeah, it's fairly insane to sit here and just look at it and be like, wait, what? What did I just
sometimes
see?
It looks like they're throwing actual blows at people.
And especially when the action is going off the mats, and I'm sitting there and I go, I have no ability to keep up with any of what that was. So I'm going to ask this. Before we go to updates, I just want to give a few quick notes to some folks here. We have friends. William Tackett is competing right now. Max Hansen is competing right now. Jay Rodriguez, Ethan Krellenston, on all these different mats, we have guests of the show, friends of the show that are all around and assorted. So just in case you guys were wondering what's happening, it is chaos. But since this is your first time on the show, I have to ask a couple things. First and foremost, what did we miss yesterday? Because we didn't get a chance to talk with you yesterday, and I want to make sure we give some credit to maybe some ladies, even if they didn't advance. But like, what did you see yesterday that you thought was particularly impressive in the ladies divisions?
All over, nothing was surprising. Like the girls who did really good are the girls who I think were expected to do really good. Like I thought, like, you know, Aslan O'Connell, for example, she, I think, had the fastest sub of the entire division. She got like a 30-second armbar, I think, something like that. I think that she's going to potentially be in the finals for it. Trinity Pun, Helena Krivar, the New Wave girls, they both got really fast armbars too. Layla Bernales, I'm not sure if a lot of people know about her. She's one of Cyborg's brown belts from out of Fight Sport. She won Gi Worlds this year in her weight division. So she had 2 matches yesterday, really fast armbar. Again, there was a lot of armbars yesterday. I think out of all the submissions, only 2 weren't armbars. So, but yeah, she had 2 matches, so she's in today. And then I saw it like already circling around on the Instagram reels, but what was her name? She got this really cool armbar. The girl had her in guard and she scooped her under her leg. Oh, Skylar Adele. So the girl underneath scooped under her leg like this. So then the girl on top kneed down to like pin it under her legs, and then got her legs underneath and just like torqued it up in this weird kind of armbar that I never saw before. But yeah, lots of really exciting matches. Like a couple of girls getting injured from, you know, the subs because everybody's just putting everything into it. So there's going to be a lot of good matchups today. Nicole Matthews is another really strong black belt, and Trinity Pun have already advanced from their first matches today. So Trinity Pun and Aslan O'Connell are actually going to be advancing against each other, and I think that's going to be a really, really exciting match today. Helena Krivar, I'm not sure exactly the name of all of her opponents. She's always a good one to watch. My predictions for the top 4 are going to be Aslan O'Connell, Helena Krivar, Nicole Matthews, and Layla Bernales. And I've competed against 3 of those girls.
Oh, man. Okay. So here's the problem. When you say stuff like that, it makes me have to ask this question, but I have to put you on the spot now. Who do you think is going to advance? Like, based off of them, I wouldn't ask this of normal folk, but you've competed against all of them, so I feel like you might have some insight.
It's so hard to tell because nowadays we have this all these like wave of the new young girls, right? So it's tempting to count them out because you have these older girls who have so much competition experience against really high level girls. So even like I fought against Helena before, and I remember like I knew she was going to be a tough match, but she's insanely strong. She's probably the strongest girl I've ever fought against of any weight division. And so like it just like there's things that you can't expect, you know. So especially with this new day before weigh-ins, like Aslan O'Connell, I know is going to be a bit big for the weight division, whereas Layla Bernales usually fights around 135. So there's going to be a bit of like a weight discrepancy between some of these girls. It's hard to bet against Helena Krivar these days. So I'm gonna say either Aslan or Helena Krivar between those 2.
And it's so funny you mention it like that because there's a part to me that you mentioned that there's this whole new blood that's coming in, and yeah, it's difficult to keep up with everybody. Believe me, there are some times when I look around, I'm like, who are you? Did I miss you? Have I been dumb this whole time? But then even when you take somebody like Trinity Pun, you're like, oh my God, she's still like so young, but she's a vet, all things considered, because we've seen her.
Definitely, yeah.
So even then, and you're right, it is going to be so hard to pick, but I've noticed this. I'm glad today I get a little bit more ability to keep tabs on things because I felt that yesterday, you know, we did a good job of being like 1 weight class done, 1 weight class done. And then once they got to those 2 weight classes that had everybody in them, they were like, and chaos. And before you knew it,
it got crazy.
I was just like, I'm trying to keep up with the women's matches, but there's no coherent way to go, wait, there's men competing.
No, am I wrong? But I thought last year we had like brackets and schedules for day 1. And I couldn't find them anywhere this year. So it was like, you didn't even have any kind of like guess or anything. Yeah. And like, you can only put the 4 screens up at a time on my computer. And it was just like, oh yeah, it was happening way faster than I could keep up with. There's so many good matches, even in the men's division, like all over the place. It's just been crazy to watch.
Well, we were just joking, and a couple quick interruptions. My apologies. John Combs, mat 2. Cody Steele versus Chris Wojcik, mat 3. Oliver Taza, mat 4. Keith Krikorian, mat 6. Ryan Aiken, mat 7. And David Garmo, mat 8. So they're, again, right now, we're in this middle of, oh my God, everybody and their mom is competing.
I
know. But yes, I just wanted to say that, and I'm so glad that you offered to keep us abreast of what is going on in these divisions, because yesterday, one of my own self-criticisms to myself was, I was like, well, I felt like we breezed through all of the late afternoon stuff. So I'm so glad you were able to give us some perspective on this. If you would be so kind, while you're watching, if you don't mind calling back in a little bit and keeping us up to date on anything that kind of pops your ear, but especially in that women's 65 category, I want to make sure that we are on top of that. So I'm going to let you get back to watching, because there's a lot of good matches right now. And let's touch base in a little bit, okay?
Yeah, sounds good. Talk soon.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
Bye.
you, Sierra. Oh, I love this so much. Okay, back to work, everybody. Woo! Woo! Okay, Taza looks like he's in on a heel hook. He gets it. He is now advancing. John Combs working to pass up top. Cody Steele now on the ground. He's working to pass Chris Wojcik. They are in points at this moment. Now looking around, Ryan Aiken looking like he is taking the back. David Garmo doing some crazy shit from underneath. He may be in trouble. He's trying to Granby out. They are not yet at points, and he's back on his feet. Going back over, Keith Krikorian doing Keith Krikorian shit and looking like he's about to take this back, looking for the hooks. He may be in on an excellent finish here. I do see a muscle post, and it does look like Kuchik is actually going to take John Combs out. John Combs out of the competition now. Unfortunately, it is getting to that part of the day. So they're going to be, I wouldn't necessarily, I don't know if I would call it an upset, but here on this show, we would call it an upset because he is a friend. So that's what we can do. Cody Steele still at work against Chris Wojcik. That is on mat number, hold on, let's corroborate these, because we have a board up that tells us what mats these correspond to. I believe that's mat 3. Yes, it is mat 3. Thanks to Octavio fixing things so that it looks like a coherent board, fixing my work. When you do this, Octavio, are you, oh, do you need the remote for that one? Yeah, it's the one right next to your computer. I don't think it is.
What do you mean?
I think it's Flo's shitty thing.
No, that can't be that bad.
Legitimately, I thought about it because I was like, I thought what you thought, which was, that doesn't seem properly sized, right? Like the aspect is off. But it's also an old computer or an old screen. So I was like, oh, maybe it's just old, whatever. I think you are running into an issue for a TV that I think my parents gave me when I was in 2007. It was at my house. Well, you say that, but I still contend that I still very much contend this is a Flo issue. Because as I'm looking at it, I go, why? It just doesn't look sized properly, right?
Yeah, and I wouldn't be able to tell until I saw another monitor with it in full screen.
Yeah. I mean, it might make sense for how they put it on the website, but that when you enlarge it, it just doesn't proportionally go.
But this is the app, though, right?
It's the Flow Grappling website. Oh, it's the app. Yeah.
This is using the app.
Yeah, that's fair.
Size it perfectly for the app.
Well, then it begs to differ, I guess, the whole time is, have we been watching matches that weren't sized properly, or are they just not sized properly on the mat on this? Because you can pick this as an option, and we could see it like that, but we're not doing that. This is good enough. Let me go ahead, double check here. Ryan Aiken, he is ahead 7-3 on points. Now, looking back at Garmo, and he's in a dogfight at the moment. Cody Steele is potentially I mean, he is looking to try and get past Chris Wojcik, who is one of the most talented individuals in jiu-jitsu. And if you guys aren't watching or reading his Grappler's Diary, you need to be on that shit. It is one of the most beautifully written and very, very funny, very, very funny pieces of literature in the sport. Looks like Big Dan coming up with the win already. And Nicky Ryan is on mat number 5. Keith Krikorian still at work playing from guard. They have 51 seconds. And Ryan Aiken is going to pick up the win on mat number 7. David Garmo in trouble. Back looks like it could be taken, although it equally looks like he's maybe thinking about a knee bar from this position. So we are waiting to see here. I want to give some credit earlier. We didn't get to say that Max Hansen did advance, so I'm excited to see that. Cody Steele with a back take here on Chris Wojcik. Chris Wojcik in trouble. He has a minute to work in this position. If Cody Steele gets, oh, no, I don't think he gives a shit about points, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I think he is working very, very quickly. He's under the chin, but he's not trying to connect the hands. As a result, I think he knows, yep, and now he has the points. This is so fucking weird. I thought we were just going over this yesterday. I thought that nope, it's a full body triangle. Chris Wojcik is out of the body triangle, which, goddamn, wish I could. Keith Krikorian back. Oh, Jesus Christ. I think it's still points. It's overtime. But I mean, it's essentially just an overtime period unless there's a submission. So there is that. John Calstein is looking on a heel hook on mat number 7. I bet that's actually going to make one of our friends happy. Chris. Keith almost had the double leg, but did get stuffed. David Garmo is going into overtime at the moment. So Steele ahead on points over Wojcik. He may be able to secure this win with just a few seconds left. Cody Steele has been the talk of the town. He promised me. Keith got points right now?
I got points for the takedown.
Beautiful. Keith is ahead at the moment. That is on mat number 6. Mat number 6. They have not given him points, I think. Maybe they put down the points, but then they took them back because they get off on being withholding. Arrested Development joke.
Are they just waiting for Keith to get some kind of a hook in?
So I think...
Is that not kind of the takedown?
No, I think what it is he was in that 3/4. Oh, God. Damn. All that work for nothing, dude.
Yeah.
That sucks.
So what happens if they go to this minute and 30? It goes to refs?
Refs decisions.
Oh, okay.
Or is it judge's decision? Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Somebody's decision.
Well, I think Keith's been the most aggressive.
I think you make a very, very strong case for Keith at this point. So again, it's got to be is somebody going to try and get a submission here? And even then, who is forcing the action? So there is that. Okay. I think I'm going to give you guys a couple quick updates here. Fabian Ramirez. Is that Fabian Ramirez? He's under Wagner. I don't think that's him. I think it's F. Ramirez. My apologies. We know too many people. But John Calstein still working underneath, was looking for that heel hook. Doesn't quite have it just yet. Aram is now on mat number 3 in the big boy division. On mat number 1, I think we had a finish. We'll get more information. Nope, they're back up. Okay, great. Sorry, apologies on that. Keith Krikorian basically has no time for anybody's leg attacks, working on a few of his own. I think if Keith ends up going for the next 30 seconds and keeps a good status quo and does not let any points get passed on this guard attempt pass, I think he is in the clear and he should pick up the decision. We want to give a shout out also to friend of the show, Chris Wojcik. Great tournament, man. Great stuff. God damn, dude. We're going to be saying bye to a whole bunch of people very, very soon. Dave Stolisu is now up on mat number 6. I'm sorry, he's on deck. Adrian Nez coming up on that same mat in a little bit. Just to let you know, John Hansen, he's going to be on mat number 3. That's coming up. Oh, Allen versus Reed. That's a good match. I didn't see who won that, though. God damn.
Match is over. They're going to
The judges.
But Keith is very hyped, feeling like he won. The other guy's not really celebrating.
I mean, no.
He's accepted a lot.
I think the hard part for this is Keith is in guard dog mode, like he has been held back a couple times to be like, hey, hold. So I don't know what happens, man. I think you hit the Manchurian Candidate button on Keith.
How you could have lost that match.
Nah, he's got it. He's got it. And I think you're right. I think I'll be honest. I think I just learned from that dude. If I feel like the decision isn't going my way, I'm gonna go off camera. I'm just gonna make sure people do not see me being like, oh, I think I fucking lost
But
that.
maybe you could do like the whole like a bad ref's decision. You're like, I won. What? I'll advance if you have.
I think, although I have a very good poker face, I think when shit like that happens and you know for sure you're not going to win, I need to take a moment to collect it so that I don't give it away like, oh, I did not win that one. Things were not good for Raph, guys.
Again, you gotta be a heel.
I mean, I could easily be a heel. That's not.
Wins.
Heel always wins, even when they lose.
Even when they lose, they still have their hands up. Like, I won that fight. That was all me.
All right, John Calistine is now in a points shootout with his opponent, Matt number 7. Matt number 8 just gave up.
Kevin Burbich on 5.
Okay, Gianni Grippo on Matt 4. Matt 4, Grippo. And he has a very, very good matchup. So I'm very excited for that one. Garmo is on Matt number 8. Would be nice to see it. Unless they just gave up completely. They're just like, fuck you guys. All right, Grippin, Elkin on Mat 2 with Sturmlitz. Okay, who do we have coming up? Adrian Nez, Allison O'Connell, Trinity Pun. That's who Sarah was talking about a little bit earlier. That's going to be fun to watch. J-Rod is coming up very shortly, as is Nikki Ryan. Nikki Ryan versus Cody Steele on Mat 3 in a couple matches. So keep in mind, that's going to be really big. I think we're about to get a decision here for John Calistine. John Calistine moves on. Well done. Excellent to see there. All right.
I said it was Kevin Burbich on 5. That is not Kevin Burbich. That looks very much like him.
No, I don't think those guys look like.
For a second, I thought it was, but it was not him.
Corby Stolasu, Matt number 6, in case Bryn is watching, and Matt Secor. Let me see here. Paula Diaz coming up versus Adam Bradley. That's going to be fire. Lauren Sears, she's coming up. M. Cruz, I think not Elder, but M. Cruz. Okay, so Tackett versus Jason Rao. That's going to be interesting. God damn, dude. We have a lot of good matches coming up right now. Woo! Keep yourself excited. John Hansen on mat number 3.
With his standard attire,
Yeah.
just shorts and being a giant.
I mean,
he's a nice guy, though.
He's a super nice guy.
Super nice guy. You wouldn't think so just looking at him. He looks like a very terrifying man.
He looks like a mean dude.
Yeah.
No, sweetheart of a human being. Love him. I think we're close. We'll put an advisory on mat number 6. Advisory on 6. There's been a good back and forth between these gents. Yeah, I don't know exactly what happened on that Garmo match. They just kind of said, like, wash, done. Amanda Levy coming up very soon on mat number 1. Nikki Ryan, Cody Steele. Again, mat number 3. It's coming up in 2 matches on mat number 3.
You don't know what happened?
David Garmo.
What weight class is that?
I think he is 88.
88. Let me see.
It's so hard because I know things about people's weight in ways that I never thought I would. Oh, yeah. Cody Steele, deaf, dude. Super fat right now. 88 kg. Dude's got to lose some weight.
His last match was a ref's decision.
Okay. Win or lose?
Win.
Tight.
So D Garmo is going against Jay Coach.
God damn, that's going to be a good match. Damn.
In the next match.
Woo!
That'll be on mat 4 at some point.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Elkins, Edgar, Martinez. Okay. We're still staying on mat number 4. Grippo might be under a little bit of duress. There's 137 left on his clock. Just kidding. He Granby's right out of it. He's going to opt to play from underneath. Hey, what's up, Prime Hand Banana? Thank you for following us. I'm going to go give you a nice little... Prime Hand Banana, thank you so much for watching us. Just so you guys know, if you guys give us a like and a share and you subscribe, we give you a toast on air. And I just saw that you gave us a nice follow. So I'm going to go ahead and toast you. Thank you so much for following. And I think a lot of people are unaware of this about you. I think they're unaware with the fact that you actually created the buggy choke. Now, I know that the Rotolo twins took credit for it, but it's only because you signed an NDA. But you know what? I've seen the papers, and I didn't sign an NDA. So cheers to you. Take that, Rotolo twins.
You really showed them.
I did. They're going to come after me. You know what the weird part is? Those kids are like, they're the nicest guys in the world.
Yeah.
But if you do them wrong, I feel like, I don't know, man. Just the fact that Ty was like, Gary Tone called me the easier twin. But he's referring to your brother being a difficult person. It's like, oh, man. He thought it was easy. Than your brother. Like, it's a fucking Sophie's choice, dude. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. There's something, I love the story of it, but I'm also like, I don't know if that's that big of a diss.
That's the only problem with being twins, and being in the same sport. Unfortunately, one of you is going to become better than the other one. You both can't be equally as good.
I don't know, man. Have you seen them? They're both pretty good.
No, they are. But it just one is going to one's gonna have an opportunity that the other one doesn't. That's gonna push them into superstardom. Like Ty's in 1. Well, are they both in 1 now?
They're both in 1.
Yeah, but Ty is the champion in his division.
Yeah, I thought it was Cade that was.
Sorry, Cade is. See, I still mix.
Same.
I think given time, they'll probably be very close, like Nick and Nate.
Oh, I think they go back and forth. I think even amongst their days at home, they're kind of like, I think today you're better, twin.
Yeah.
No, today me. Yay. All right. I got Devon Johnson. Looks like he has passed Bradley's guard. There's still no points on it, though. So I think we're waiting on that. No, that's Sakura. My apologies. Not Bradley. Just see a bald head. More profiling. John Hansen did win on mat number 3. Congratulations are in order for him. Like I said, it's about to be a bloodbath here, folks. And if you're watching on YouTube, show us a comment. I see that you guys are watching right now. Give us a like, subscribe. We love you guys. I'll give you a toast on air. I promise you that much if you do it. If you don't, I don't really care. I mean, just kind of hurts me on the inside, but that's okay. Should I try the sad thing? Is the sad thing going to work? No, probably not. All right. Watch here. Putting up a reminder. We have much more work to do today, guys. All right. Where are we? Grippo still happening on mat number 4. And Johnson, is Johnson pointing at him? Oh, I think he's trying to chill him out. I don't get what's happening on that one.
Neither do I. But it looked like Matt Secor was ready to just get right back into it again.
I think so.
Like, stop stalling. Let's go. Let's do this.
We're not friends right now, friend.
Oh, and I see. It's because there's only couple seconds left, and he's up on points. So Matt was trying to go for some kind of takedown, some kind of way to get some points. But.
Oh, they're bringing out Tom DeBlas, who I think is just yelling out inspirational quotes at them. I think that's what is happening. No, you have to understand. You're a butterfly, and you gotta grow. Okay. Hey, you're beautiful on the inside, not on the outside. That's what matters. I think I can make a book about just bullshit that he writes, right?
I mean,
but like fake bullshit, not what he actually writes.
Is there not one already?
I think there's one for Danaher.
Oh.
But by the way,
that's just his Instagram quotes. Just
That's what I thought.
paste it into a book.
I thought that's what they did. I was like, can you do that?
He didn't write anything original. He just took all his stuff from the last year.
Do you know what I'm referring to? Have you seen this book?
I haven't seen this book, but
I think they
believe it.
actually did that.
I believe it.
And I think maybe they put like an introduction piece on it. Carver is going to advance, by the way. I'm at number 5. At number 5. Okay, let's go back to an update here. Paul Ardea is going to be up. M. Cruz, Nez. Oh, I see a note here. That can only mean that somebody has something to celebrate, and I wonder why they would have something to celebrate. I think we should welcome back correspondent Senor Chris. Chris, what are you possibly calling in about?
Big updates at 66.
We do have big updates at 66, sir. I'll give you the floor. What do we have?
Okay, we had Ethan versus Espinoza. I said it was going to be a good one. Ethan kind of got the better of most of the exchanges, went to the leg locks, and then he broke Espinoza multiple times and finally got him to tap to a toe hold. Ethan looked like he was a little frustrated that Espinoza kept letting him break him. Bias coming up. John Callistine, rear naked choke win. Him and Ethan are going to have their 4th match in the quarterfinals. John is 2-1 over Ethan. They haven't had a match in years, so we'll see how this one goes. John got the win over McClendon by rear naked choke.
That's fine. Let's go over some updates right now. The first of which, I want to make sure that people are aware. Paul Ardea versus Adam Bradley. That's going to be a great match. Looking forward to that one. That's on mat 4. Rocha is on mat number 2. You got Nez, mat 6. J-Rod on mat number 7. And then you've got Grandy and Nemeth on mat 8. I'm going to go ahead and put the advisory for right now. Can't deny it. 1, J-Rod.
J-Rod, Stanley Rosa. Don't forget, Stanley is coming second in this tournament. Stanley's done very well in this tournament. People are
very, very accurate on that. I just want to make sure that when we address this, though, somebody put this up, and I wasn't quite sure, but they said post-breakup J-Rod, and I was like, the kid was in a breakup. I don't know any of these things, but he had like a
gotta watch the B Team YouTube.
No, I don't. I love.
I don't blame you. I just know them, so I'll watch sometimes because I know a lot of them.
Sure.
And I have friends with a lot of them, but I don't blame you for not watching it.
Listen, dude.
It's mostly nonsense.
But it appeals and it resonates with the youth, and I think that's what you're supposed to do. But I just know whenever I see them doing shitty jokes, I go, oh, okay. Well, good for them.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
What I will say, though, is, okay, so the reason why the momentum has been with him, I mean, Who's Number One performance, that was amazing. Just consistently overperforming for where he is in his relative quintet. Yep. But for his relative, like, jiu-jitsu experience. Rosa's got a nice little bite on the leg here, but I don't know that it's going to be enough to finish.
He's extremely dangerous with straight ankle locks, and he does a lot of damage with them. He just tapped Shanya DeMarco at once, so you got to look out for that. It doesn't look that bad, but Stanley is freakish with the ankle locks.
I believe you are correct.
Oh, he's going for it. He's going for it. Oh, he lost it.
But again, I think... God. I think the funniest part of what just happened is he connected with this face there with like almost like a strike. And I had a moment where on mat number 1 is that, hold on, advisory on mat 1. We'll go ahead and give a nice one on that. But no, he just took a strike that looked like the fake strike that you get in movies, because it looked like when he got hit, he did like an over-exaggerated thing. And I think it's partially the hair as well. Again, continuously looking at mat number 4, keeping an eye on Ardea versus Bradley. 2 very, very strong performers in their own right. Now, J-Rod with the back take here with the body triangle. This is not looking good for him, dude.
This might be it. I think J-Rod might have this now.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't know that we were wrong to put the momentum on that side. Granny looking, he may be in danger right now, but no, just pops up his buddy, lifts him up. Didn't quite even slam him down.
Just to follow up on the rest of the updates on 66, we had Dorian Oliveras beat Gianni Grippo on a negative in overtime. That was can be considered a big upset to a lot of people. I mean, Dorian's a young kid. I think he's still in high school. Like, that's very impressive for him to go out there and beat Gianni.
I think we
We
were
have
talking about.
Keith Krikorian. What's up?
Real quick to just interject. I think yesterday we were talking about just kind of the weird trajectory that we have seen from Gianni Grippo just in this tournament. It is it's always very strong, and then something kind of happens where it just seems like that's an upset or that's unusual. But man, I don't like the idea of whoever has to roll with that guy next. That I always think of that whenever I see like a Gianni Grippo, because I'm like, dude, I've seen that dude snap
Yeah.
legs. That's not fun, man.
Yeah, Gianni's very good. We went down and trained with him once or twice. He's very good.
Beautiful. Again, Lauren Sears, Matt 2, Polo Gia Bradley still going on, and no points yet on their side, Matt 4. But let's bring up to some attention here to some folks who may not be seeing this board. Here's what is coming up in the pipeline. Ramirez and Krikorian is coming up a little bit later. They'll be on Matt. Hold on, I wanted to say it was Matt number 7. Yes. Tackett and Rao is coming up after this.
That's a rematch.
Match. Yep.
Big rematch there. Jason lost to Tackett a few years at trials at 77. They both moved up. Jason looked outstanding. He got another quick submission. I'm really happy about how he's performing in these trials. He looks really good.
I agree.
Just finishing up 66. Oliveras is going to have the winner of Soju, Emilio Hernandez. That's the only match left in that round. Keith got a ref's decision in a really tough match with Reese Lefevre from New Wave. Fabian got 3 on Sean Weisenberg. He has Keith next. To wrap up the bracket, DeAndre Corbet went out to Dominic Mejia. And Gavin Corbet won his match against David Stoll 3-0. So we won't be seeing the Corbets go against each other, but Gavin has a chance to get it back for his brother.
Probably for the best. I don't know that I really want to see brothers go against each other. I have issue.
I mean, if it's anything like the Rotolo brothers, we might.
Yeah, I guess. Except I don't know, man. I think
they try to kill each other.
I think the Rotolos have a weird death wish pact with each other that, like, whatever they're just about to do, they're like, hey, man, I only want you to be the one to kill me. That's kind of their agreement with each other. Nez, I think he's up on points, but he has to be very, very careful here about letting a pass happen.
Jason Rao, Will Tackett starting up on Matt 7.
Thank you for that. Let's put the advisory on Matt 7. Matt 7 for Tackett and Rao. Barnberg.
Rao in on a leg.
Uh-oh. You are ahead of me, sir. Yikes. I'm sorry. What were you saying? Nikki Ryan versus Cody Steele. That is going to be Matt 3 after. It's coming up. There's a minute left, so it's very shortly happening over on that one.
I need to get Matt 3 up then.
Don't everybody here, because of the ineptness of flow grappling, I think we all feel like hackers by the end of this. It's like, ooh, hold on, I gotta call that up. Let me go ahead and type in some code. Yeah, I got it.
Rao is in. Rao is in tight on the leg lock.
Yep. Tackett could be in trouble here.
He's looking for the back.
It's on Matt number 7. Just to remind everybody, Matt number 7 is what is happening here. Tackett trying to use it as an opportunity to take the back, but it's a little bit dicey.
I know I'm a little ahead of you. Rao just came up on a front headlock.
Nice.
All right. They're back to neutral.
I think Grandy pulled ahead on that one, yeah? On Matt 8.
Looks like our D is about to beat Adam Bradley 3-0 on a back take.
Nice. Wow. I mean, Paul is himself a previous winner of this as well.
Yeah, he's another guy he won the division. He's underrated, I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's weird because, shit. I didn't see it was going to be Taza and Hansen.
Taza has looked outstanding.
Yeah.
All submissions. Beat really tough guys, submitting everyone. Taza has looked outstanding today. I just wanted to shout him out real quick.
Thank you. Good call on that. Okay.
I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Is that who you're asking about? Who were you asking about just last? Grandy? He won by submission.
He did win by submission. Okay, great.
Yeah. And he is now in the semifinals going against Devontae Johnson.
Oh, I like that a lot.
Adrian has also advanced to the semifinals.
Adrian Nez is advancing as well. Thank you for that update.
One more match.
Oh, Ethan and John is up.
All right, Ethan. You know what? I'm gonna let you get out of here. Go
Yeah,
watch that
you
match.
should.
We'll chat after, I'm sure.
All right, sounds
Talk
good.
to you soon, buddy.
Bye.
Kazan O'Connell versus Trinity Pun on match.
Yeah, there's too many matches to give full advisories on.
Yeah.
I will tell you guys that Allison and Trinity on mat number 6, as Octavio was bringing to our attention, but I think we're going to go with an advisory on mat 2. Advisory on mat 2 for Ethan and John. That's a fucking good match. And just as an update on mat number 7, oh, it's Cody Steele and Nikki. Oh, Nikki Ryan does get the tap on Cody Steele. Wow.
Quick too, right?
That was a very quick heel hook finish for him.
Wow, super impressive.
Wow. That's very, very well done. Trinity Pun trying to look for a triangle that is not unusual to the world of ADCC.
Oh man, that is a
Flexibility be damned. Jason Rouse still on a front headlock on William Tackett here. Garmo pulling up. So this is going to be the Garmo. And I think, did we say Bradley fan? Let me see. Hold on. We'll pull this up momentarily and I'll give you the notes. Okay. Good to know. Looking back on mat number 4. I'm sorry, mat number 3. Jacob Couch and Garmo. Thank you. That was the match I was looking for. It was escaping my brain. If you guys are just tuning in, my name is Rafa Esparza. You are very much a part of this broadcast. So the comments you have, they're spacing it out more now on the board because they know they're getting a little closer to the end here.
yeah. No, it just keeps shifting.
Couch and Garmo, mat number 3. And Amanda Levy may have just pulled a win again. She continues on. Excellent work here by friend of the show, Amanda Levy. All right, William Tackett is ahead on points. It's weird because we've seen a submission hunting from Rao, but William Tackett could still pull ahead here. Be very interesting to see how that's happening. All right, Ethan Krelston trying to... I'm sorry. What is that? Yeah, he's still trying to pass on John Callenstein. Now, Chris was telling us very nicely that that was their 4th match against each other, and they haven't had a match against each other in years. So
Ethan and John?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you figure the amount of time that they were in very similar rooms together, it does make you wonder exactly, even if that time means anything. Max Hansen in the bright, I'm assuming, Perry shorts going up against Oliver Taza, who, as we mentioned, has been straight fire this entire tournament. And Hansen, let's look back at that. You were mentioning a potential submission. This is Couch, who, yeah, I think you might be right. He does have a very good triangle here.
He's going for like a mounted
on Garmo, but I would assume, I think he's just lost on the arm. He doesn't quite have the arm to get a Kimura off of it just yet, but that could be a done deal. And Garmo is holding on for dear life here. That's the arm.
He does have a triangle.
He
It's just on the
does.
other side.
And Garmo's basically going to spike pile drive him down and does get out of it. Excellent work there. Going back on over, I will put the advisory now. I'm going to switch the advisory on over to mat number 5. Mat number 5 with Taza and Hansen. Those are 2 monsters who have been killing their competition recently. And in other matches, we've seen Taza put in short work. I don't know that that's going to happen with him and Hansen. I think the 2 of them are in for a nice little back and forth. And it does look like Tackett pulled up the win. If I could get number 7, an update on that. Yes, please. Thank you very much for that. Krellenston still working the pass over on Callenstein. Isn't quite going to get it. Elder Cruz is going up against Ryan Aiken on mat number 1. Mat number 1, in case you guys were wondering. So lots of action going all over the place. Very much appreciate you guys for watching along with us. Again, questions, comments, concerns, hints, allegations, hit us up in the comment section. I am making sure that I am looking all around. It says, who are your picks? Who is left? Whoever appears on my show. That's it.
You want my points?
William Tackett did.
won by
Yeah,
points.
great. And whoever is going to win this one will appear on my show. So everybody, lots of laughs. How did DeAndre Corbe lose? I'm not clear on that one, so we'll have to source that one to the crowd.
What weight class is that? Do you know?
I'm not familiar with exactly what weight class off the top of my head. It's going to take me a second. Meanwhile, Karch and Garmo still happening. Couch may actually have a submission here on Garmo, who maybe has his back compromised, still trying to use that front headlock to come up on it savagely, nicely back up on his feet. He is trying to use that as emphasis to come on top. Now he is going to be passing on Jacob Couch. Negative 66 kg. Thank you very much for Lenny, that update. Sorry. It is very difficult sometimes to know that off the top of my head. Allison Connell, Trinity Pun still at work. There's 2 minutes, 54 seconds left on that one.
I think they just got into overtime.
You think you are correct.
Allison just got a takedown, so she has 2 points now.
Allison with the takedown, indeed. Thank you for the update. One, Octavio Villanueva, our producer. Hansen and Taza back up on the feet, 0 points both ways. Taza looked like he might have had a takedown, but can't secure it. Meanwhile, just to let you guys know, G. Corbe, though, in the 66 kg, there we are. He will be on mat number 3 momentarily. That is coming up shortly. So keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, back on the mats, Keith Krikorian is on mat number 7. Mat number 7, Keith Krikorian. We haven't switched the advisory just yet, but Ethan Krellenstein is now ahead by 2 points in his match against John Krellenstein. It's going to be an interesting match all the way through. Elder Cruz trying to utilize the wrestling to beat Ryan Aiken, who is pulling guard and trying to get something going there. Now, John Krellenstein has 2 minutes to try and get this win and even out the points. Meanwhile, Keith Krikorian looking on a pass, doesn't quite have points just yet. Mat 8 is buffering, and Allison O'Connell looking for a leg here against Trinity Pun. Multiple mats going on, so my apologies if we are switching back and forth too fast for your ears. We are doing it as best we can to make sure you guys are well informed in every one of these matches. So, again, questions, comments, concerns, hints, allegations. You guys know the deal at this point. All right, there is a back take over with Keith Krikorian. There's no points in this portion yet, but Keith could be working on a finish if you are familiar with his work and the types of things that he does in that dangerous position. There is a little bit of a moment here where Max Hansen's trying to attack the leg here on Oliver Taza, who does have points over him. There's a little bit of a 50-50 battle between the two, and Max Hansen's hoping to use that to utilize that little bit of momentum to get back that leg, but instead they go back up on their feet. And I think on mat number 4, you have Alex Enriquez back on mat number 4, friend of the show. And it does look like on mat number 3, we have a finish with the Jacob Couch and David Garmo. If I am assuming, I think Couch may have taken that one against Garmo. I think so. I'll get confirmation on that one. Can we get a double check on mat number 3 for Garmo and Couch? My assumption is that Garmo did lose that one to Jacob Couch, but I'll need a confirmation. Meanwhile, Keith Krikorian, I was right. It was Fabian Ramirez. I just didn't know he was part of the Wagner Rocha Association, so it took me a minute on that.
And Allison O'Connell defeats Trinity Pun by points.
Allison O'Connell will pick up the points, and that was over on mat number 6. Mat number 6, just in case you guys were wondering, mat number 6. All right, Oliver Taza, Max Hansen, they finish in regulation. Taza will win by points in advance, but congratulations to Max Hansen, who continues to impress. That young man is really, really good. He is a double champ for a reason within the finishers organization, so much love to that guy. Ethan Krellenstein
Couch
is...
versus Garmo. Couch won by submission, 4 minutes, 50 seconds.
Thank you for that. Good to know. All right.
He'll be facing J-Rod in the semifinals.
Beautiful. Ethan Krellenstein does pick up the win over John, and looks like they're hugging it out. think it's kind of nice to have a moment for the two of those guys who have a history, and I hope that they are in a good place. All right. You've got Elder Cruz on a back take. He may be able to finish here against Ryan Aiken. He is switching it off, trying to pry apart, except Aiken's actually doing some good defense here. And speaking of good defense, it does look like Keith Krikorian with Fabian is still, I wouldn't say struggling, but he's still going to work. And Fabian does not look like he is enjoying life, but he is out of immediate danger and into different danger with Keith Krikorian. Meanwhile, Alex Enriquez, I want to make sure, it does look like she is working on a transition to the back. We'll give you an update on that one momentarily. Meanwhile, I don't know what the fuck they're zooming in on mat number 2, so we'll come back to that one momentarily on that. Let me see here. Yeah, Keith, the fact that Keith doesn't have points at this point is it's not a miracle. It's just a relative choice by a referee because
he doesn't have like traditional hooks.
He doesn't have the traditional body triangle. Yeah. And oh shit, now Fabian is out and looking to pass on Keith Krikorian. Oh, but Keith just kind of like staggers him down, looking for double unders on Keith. Doesn't quite get it. Keith does? Oh, absolutely.
Really good guard retention.
One of the best in the nation, one might argue. And they're moving them back to the center of the mats. By the way, it does look like Fabian, I think he went through a training camp that put him on the same island that Tom Hanks was cast away on. I think as the match concludes, he will be looking for his friend Wilson, the source of his power, to be found on that, I think.
If I was a betting man, I would guess it's going to be Ethan versus Keith in the finals.
Ethan versus Keith.
Which is a match they've done many times.
Yeah.
They know each other's game pretty well.
I mean, I think the two of them are very much expecting the other. Fabian tries to shoot in for a takedown, doesn't quite get it. Well, here's the good news. We are moving quite adeptly through these weight classes so far. So we may be coming up. These are semifinals coming up next.
Yes. Let's see. We still have, in the 77 category, we still have 2 matches before we can get into the semifinals.
Okay.
Let's see. In the 88, we are already waiting for semifinals. That's going to be J-Rod versus Couch in the first match, and William Taggart versus Elder Cruz in the second match. In the 99, we are in the semifinals as well. We have P. Ardilla versus Adrian Nez in the first match, Devontae Johnson and A. Grandy in the second match. In the 99 plus, we are definitely already in the semis. I don't know how to say this guy's last name. Manasau versus Alam, and D. Ramos versus John Hansen.
Thank you very much for that. Appreciate those updates, sir. All right. Let me go back to this. I want to make sure that you guys are aware of kind of where we stand. I think we're waiting to see how some of these matches shake out for these remaining moments. There is a bit of a pause over on mat number 3. And it looks like they went out of bounds, so we're waiting for information on that. Alex Enriquez back up on points, 5-0. 5-0 right now. She is looking pretty good to win. Fabian and Keith, looks like Ron Hansen is having to separate them back up. Keith thought about for a second playing from underneath. Alex Enriquez, visory on mat number 4. It looks like she may pull off a rear naked choke here. Waiting to see, and she does get the finish. The monster that is that. And meanwhile, Rivera looks like they will be taking a loss. Kichik is going to move on. Congratulations there. Keith and Fabian still going back and forth, about to go off into the Jersey carpet. Ron moves them back to the center of the mats, and they progress. And it does look like Fabian's trying to work a front headlock. Keith working from guard. You know, This is a very dangerous time. Oh, Keith's back up. I was like, yeah, Keith can't stay on the bottom on that just for the perspective of looking like he may not be as active. There's 24 seconds left. Fabian shoots for a takedown, doesn't get it. Keith working on his own front headlock, holding on to dear life. They're about to go to a separate mat altogether, but Keith stuffs and sprawls.
He's a good wrestler too.
Yeah, Keith is deceptive, man.
Everywhere. Like his wrestling's really good. His guard is really good. His back attack is really good.
Yeah, looking to maintain here. Keith looks up at the points. We now go to a decision, and both of them are celebrating.
Nah, see, there you go. See, that's what I want to see.
Yeah.
One of them knows in their mind I didn't win.
And Keith is doing a good job of playing it up, so...
I think he did do is tired.
I think both of them are tired, but I think Keith has enough experience to know that perception is a very important thing when it comes.
What's also impressing me by Keith, he always had a really good gas tank.
Yeah.
Like, he's always goes to long matches, and he can always make it to the finals.
I think what it kind of comes from is a little bit of a scrappy attitude of like, all right, dude, I'm maybe not the biggest guy in this gym, but I'm going to be hanging out and I'll be in this match forever. And then that translates to now being the guy who's the guy.
Yeah. And I believe he did indeed win that.
Dorsey from B Team, I believe, is on mat number 6. Mat number 6. So that is happening, is ahead on points. Let me go ahead and make sure I'm not missing anybody in the comment section. J-Rod versus Couch. Yes, and it says he lost against Dominic Mejia, so that was somebody answering the question, I believe, for DeAndre. We do have a winner over on mat number 6. Great news on that. So it looks like there may be a little bit of a slight break over on that side. So again, waiting on updates for all this.
Ryan versus Kachuk, so 2 guys from B Team in the next one.
Yep, and that should be
family violence.
I mean, at this point, I think the perception is that Nikki Ryan is probably going to pull ahead.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to bet.
Lucas was asking, I mean, we may have just answered your question. How many B Team guys are left? Well,
I can count them. I'll let you know.
Ethan.
Right, Ethan's still in it.
Nikki.
Kerchik. Let's see who's left to go. Someone left on that one.
I think those are the main players that are left. Just off the top of my head. Oliveras, is that B Team? It'll take a minute, but yeah, I think those are the main players. We'll report back to you when we see more. J-Rod, correct. Thank you. God, dude. Yeah, I'm going to pull up the brackets as well. You cannot just depend on Flow Grappling's televised version of this.
That's left in the men's division is those names that we just said.
Yep. All right, so as I pull up my Flow Arena here, which is not a stream, Flow, thank you.
That's all there is in B Team. None of the women are in the semifinals from B Team.
Okay, so I think that's Jasmine Rocha. She's left in the 55, and Ung Enriquez Charrier. Okay. I wonder, I'm going to be very interested in asking the females what it feels like to have a third weight class there, because so much of what you're trying to do when you're getting into these matches or this thing is the strategy of how do you win it? And a lot of that comes down to different weight classes. And for them, I think it is partially a relief of thank God. So no, Oliveras is team. Is that Team Oliveras? Is that what you can do? It's better than not applicable here.
That's probably what they did. Like, where's your gym? I don't have one. What do you need one? Team Oliveras.
Team whatever.
Team whatever my last name is.
Team who gives a shit. So, noting on this.
Yeah, but I believe we're just waiting for all the semifinals to start.
I think so. I think they're taking a momentary break. So, as we are doing that, I will take any questions you guys have momentarily, but I may actually
There should be one more match still, unless this hasn't updated. But it says D. Oliveras and E. Hernandez haven't gone yet.
Yeah, and that's why I'm hesitating. It's supposed to be on mat 8.
On this, it says mat 3.
Is that mat 3? Oh, well, that's because it's cut off on my. Yeah, so I do think it goes full screen. I don't know exactly how you get the
Now
proportion
they're
out.
starting, yeah. So then once that match is done, then
We're at
we're at
semifinals all the way.
for every single weight class.
Good to know. All right. So far, so good. Let me double check a couple things here. So, we've had Chris call in. I think at some point I should be hearing from some other friends, but I want to make sure that you guys are aware. We are waiting for the semifinals to make their way through. I hope that we're going to like 1 or 2 mats at this point, right?
I mean, I would love if they used all the mats, but that's not gonna happen, bro.
The problem is, no, for semifinals on, you just don't overdo it. Like, let me see the actual fucking things. Because at that point, you have 8 weight classes, right? That is, what, 16 matches?
For semifinals, yeah.
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 We can do those. That's fine. Even if you wanted, like, 2 at a time is fine. But god damn it, doing too many of these, even 3 is too much. You literally let us see these matches. If you get to a semifinal, I think we want to see what the fuck is happening. Because so much of this is such, not even a surprise. It's just like, did that person, oh, okay. Congrats. Good job, guys. So, I think at this point, I'm going to look to put in potentially, we're down to quarterfinals. If you know, oh, that would be great. All right. Let me go ahead and also look at food options because I'm hungry at this point. Would you like anything, sir?
Sure, whatever.
All right.
Whatever you get, make it 2.
Copy. I'm going breakfast burrito again, but the question is,
You never go wrong with that.
we're going to go from a different burrito place. I don't like this about Postmates that you can't, like, they do put this in, but anytime you do it, it just kind of says, like, I'm looking for burritos. And they go, big burrito? And I go, sure. We do have an update here. Senor Chris coming back on. I think he's had a few moments to collect his thoughts. Chris, how are you, sir?
Coming in a little more somber than last time, unfortunately.
It's just every other appearance is you coming in hot and being super excited. This is the most, hey, what's up? Yeah. You guys okay?
I needed a few minutes. John's my best friend. I am gonna be upset when he loses. I can't be unbiased when it comes to him, unfortunately. Yeah, so we just to get it over with, we had John and Ethan. It was nothing for a very long time. It went to points, and then the camera like missed what happened, and Damien was cornering Ethan, calling for a negative. So I'm assuming John went to sit, and then they gave Ethan 2 points. I don't know if he like maybe grabbed his leg at the last second or something, but I'm not really sure what happened there. The camera like went off it for a second and missed that whole sequence. That was either in the overtime or I think it was in the overtime. And then at the end of the match, John was just trying to make something happen. Goes to the turtle. Ethan took his back up 3 more points, and it was 5-0 to end it. Unfortunately, Ethan looked really good. John wasn't as aggressive as he's been his last few matches, I would just say. But yeah.
Nope, he's done.
Okay, so I have to ask. I know it sucks to watch. I know at this point it is unfortunate, but I do want to know this. At this point, though, what are you seeing in that division?
Okay, so no, it's easy question answered. Ethan looks really good. Ethan always looks really good. He does really well at these trials. Dorian Oliveira's just won 3-0, so those two who have trained together are going to be having a match next. Dorian's skill set really fits this rule set, I would say. And I think he has a shot here against Ethan, but I would favor Ethan going into that match just because of experience. And he's trained with Dorian, so I'm sure he has a game plan because I'm assuming he was expecting Dorian to go pretty far. Keith won a ref's decision over another old teammate of mine, Fabian Ramirez. Fabian looked good. It was a tough match. another close one for Keith in a ref's decision. Then we had Dominic Mejia beats another Corbet brother, took out Gavin, beat him by armbar in the overtime. He's looking really impressive. So him versus Keith is that's going to be really interesting. The winner of the finals. So I'm really excited to watch that one. I would think the winner of that match is going to go up against Ethan, most likely. That's just what I'm predicting to happen. And we might have a rematch from the trials a couple years back, Ethan versus Keith.
Copy that. Okay, I want to bring on Sarah here in just a second. Sarah, you also are giving us some updates. What were you saying? You wanted to give us a little bit of an update on the division, since we're getting a moment to actually catch our breath here.
Yeah, I know. There's so many that go on at the same time. So yeah, we're down to the quarterfinals for the women's under 65 kilograms. So we have Helena. First of all, she's subbed her way through the entire division so far. She's the only person in the division who has done that. So she's looking like a strong favorite. You're starting to see everybody else slow down a bit, but Helena's just so methodical. So I'm starting to think that she's going to take this one. Her and Aslan are going to be going up next. Aslan's won everything by points so far. Aslan just beat Trinity Pun in the last one. That was a really good matchup. I did expect Aslan to win that one. Trinity Pun is really good at getting subs off scrambles, but she's not always great at creating space needed for scrambles, and Aslan's really good at closing the space, which is exactly what she did in their match. Layla Bernelli's in Black just fought. Black won on points, so she's going to face Delgado, who also just won on points. So yeah, we're down to those final four, and then since Aslan and Helena are going to be on the same side of the bracket, I guess Helena's going to go against either Black or Delgado. Both of those are new to me, so yeah, I'm starting to think that Helena's going to be the favorite of this division.
Okay, so I have two folks here, and my thing is, whenever you have a news team that you can assemble, you want to utilize all of the news team that you can. So what I want to do is this. Chris.
Yep.
Because there were matches that you and I may not have seen, I want to give you an opportunity to ask Sarah if there was any matches that maybe you did see that you're like, hey, did you happen to see any of these? Because I feel from a collective group, we may have seen 70% of the matches. However,
Cool.
I want to ask, just in case there was something you didn't see or that maybe you had to look up a little bit later, because I want to try and pull from the source of the crowd here. So, Chris, was there any matches that you didn't see that you wanted clarity on that maybe Sarah saw?
Okay, so let me just look through some of the brackets. Jasmine Roca, it looks like she won another match by sub. I did not catch that in the quarterfinals, so...
Yeah, it was a slow grinding one. They were like scrambling around for a bit, and then she had her in a triangle, and then just cooked her until she got the tap. She might have even extended the arm at the end. It was one of those ones I was watching in my peripheral vision.
And then Amanda Levy got another submission as well. Did you happen to catch that one?
I haven't got to see any of her matches yet. There's so many I want to go back and see. Like Jason Rao, was so excited to see his matches, and the only one I caught was the one that he'd lost, and I was just like, no.
Yeah. Jason won a lot by sub. He did. He looked really good this trials, and then he 2-0 to William Tackett. Nothing to hang your head about.
Yeah, of course that's but even like that matchup, I was just like, man, you'd pay money to go watch this on Who's Number One, and you're just like watching it for free on the trials.
Yeah, it's really cool.
All right, so I'm going to do the reverse now, and I'm going to say, Sarah, were there any matches that you didn't get to see that maybe Chris can? And Chris has been doing a good job for us this week. I have to admit, he has been very consistent in making sure that we're watching things. He's been able to put aside some of his deep, deep love for all things John. But I wanted to see, were there any that you missed? Because I know you were teaching, you're busy, everybody's living a life. Like everybody's trying to do stuff.
I was interested in seeing the Jason Rao matches. What kind of subs was he going for? Were they mostly leg locks, or did you see him doing anything else?
Yeah, Jason, you missed all of his matches for the tournament?
I only watched the one with William Tackett. It was the only one I caught, and I was hoping to catch all of his.
Yeah, Jason won a lot by leg lock here. I have to go back and look at the first round, but he definitely won his last two very quickly by leg lock. I think he won both of them in under a minute, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay, so that makes me happier to hear.
So, okay.
Yeah, nobody else top of my head, I've had pretty good luck with at least catching parts of matches, even if I didn't catch the whole match, catching parts of them as I flip through.
Yeah. I think Jason also might have won one match by a head and arm choke, I think, over maybe
Nice.
Steve Caston.
So, having said that, and now again that we have a nice little pool of folks here, I would like to know this. What has been the match that you have been the most appreciative of, or that you've loved the most from the tournament so far? And I'm going to go ahead and start with, let's start with Sarah.
I've watched so many, so let me just quickly look back here. I don't think there's a specific match that stands out, but it's nice to see like there's certain athletes maybe that you just kind of like their progression through. I would even say like, so when you lose to somebody in tournament, you obviously like give yourself a million excuses of why like next time it wouldn't happen. And so because I fought Helena, you naturally like maybe don't give them as much respect. So watching her progress through this tournament, it has really solidified my respect for her, that she is a pretty well-rounded and technical athlete. My boyfriend's watching me say that because I've maybe not always thought that.
Hey, listen, first of all, I have to say the honesty is always appreciated on this show. But second of all, like legitimately, it's different because when you're competing against these people, you can't just sit there and be like, well, I have to say she's really the best at this. It's like, well, I'm trying to be the best at this too. Come on. So
and you have to like, if you're trying to get better, you look at the ways you could have beat them and stuff like that. And so you always think that with people that you lost. But she keeps getting faced with more and more mature athletes. And so getting to see her in these runs, you see her just get all these quick subs here and there, and you always think it's like a coincidence, but just seeing her chain them together one after another in a day like this or in a weekend like this, it's hard to deny it.
I want to point this out. I just saw a comment from our stream that just said, I swear to God, Flo can't do anything correct. You can't even see past the round of 16 on their bracket website. They make me hate BJJ. Now, listen, I always try to have at least somewhat of a more diplomatic thing. Like, I say a lot of stuff, but it's usually with the intent of, I hope this is better. I wish this was better. There is a little bit of like, as you're watching this, there is a moment where you go, I would have watched that if I would have, or I would have loved some direction to know this was here, this is working. And then all of a sudden you end up going by and you go, hey, guest correspondence, what's your favorite match? Dude, I don't know. I feel like I've been waterboarded with jiu-jitsu. That's
a great description.
And then you just go like, I don't know. State secrets. Here's the codes. Like by the end of this weekend, I don't even know what to say. Now, I will say this. I am noticing on, we have a little preview screen here. On our preview screen, it is showing that they have, I believe, the big boys coming up. So at least they're starting to schedule those things. It looks like it's going to be down to 2 mats. It'll be mats 2 and 3. So logistically, mats 2 and 3 will be our areas of focus. We will be going 2 at a time, it looks like, until the finals, and then I think we go solo from there. Chris, I want to give you the opportunity to answer that exact same question. So what did you enjoy, and what has been the standout match? And hold on, before you even say John, I want to make sure that you have a non-John answer ready.
I do. I mean, look, like we said, it is a little difficult to pick out one specific match, and obviously we have biases. We have friends competing. Like John's run prior to the match with Ethan was fantastic. I enjoyed all those matches. Dominic Mejia's his submission over Gavin Corbet, I think, is very big. That's probably one that's up there because Gavin Corbet, both of the Corbet brothers are very tough, very talented grapplers. And then just Oliver Taz's run through the whole thing, Nicky Ryan's run through the whole thing. Jason Rao versus William Tackett was a very technical match that I enjoyed to watch a lot, and Jason's run through the trials has been great. So those have kind of been my standouts, I would say.
Okay, I'm going to come back to the group here as well. But I do want to get this impression here. So I was asking this a little bit earlier, and Sarah, from your perspective, does it feel nice to have a third weight class? Because to me, when I saw that there was two, it felt like the prevailing wisdom was you are either competing in one weight class or facing Gabby Garcia. And so as a result of that, I feel like strategically it has been nice to see women get a different weight class that they might have more success in, or at least that they're coming into it thinking like, hey, you know what? I can strategize a little bit differently that works to my favor here. But have you seen it from your perspective in that regard?
Definitely. Like even the smaller division now, I think is 120. So it's nice because I've noticed that those matches seem to be looking a little not more technical because they always are, but like there's like tons of like inversion and just kind of like little people moves that you see more of in the smaller divisions. I still think that like 140, 145 or whatever it is that they're capping it off of is like a crazy, pretty low, like, you know, cutoff weight. Cause so you're still seeing a bit of like weight disparity in the upper classes, but it definitely is like a step in the right direction, at least being able to categorize girls closer in their weight class.
Okay. I also want to point this out, Chris, to you.
Yep.
If you were a female competing, would you even mess with East Coast trials? Because you just get a better seed for West Coast trials when you win there.
Yeah.
And to me, I always look at that and I go, would I even do it? Like, would I even I just show up at West Coast, right?
So
that's what I'm doing. Like I'm not going to East Coast trials, and I will be at West Coast trials.
Well, hold on. Chris, give me a second here. Let's stick with that then. Why? Because is it the cost? Because I think the weirdest thing that I see on the website that I can't justify, and I've tried to explain this to other people, is they say they're going to cover your airfare and expenses to go to West Coast trials. So I think to myself, I'm like, at best, you win what on a game show would be like I won what? That's well,
like I think it would really only make sense if you're local to the East Coast, so that your travel costs for the East Coast trials aren't significant. So you're getting competition experience at a fairly good level with the chance for free travel. But if you're having any kind of significant travel costs to get to East trials, like I would, then it's just not worth it. Like if I had extra money and time to kill just for some extra competition like practice, but as far as what you're getting out of there, you're not really getting, like, only one person's leaving with anything of value, and even then it's not even that valuable.
And I mean, listen, I think the one thing that is valuable is I do think the competition experience is almost impossible to replicate. Like you can't make that happen. It's just, I've done this thing when I've explained it to people. Well, let's put it this way. Whoever wins this, I usually put out an invitation like, hey, come on the show. There's a very easy conversation that happens with the men toward the end where I go, hey, you're going. Congrats. I want to say the last time I did this with the ladies, it was, yay! We get to do it. Yay! And I swear to God, every time I look at them, like, I don't know how to make this great. So I just try to give them an opportunity. Yeah. They can't say shit about the organization. They can't say, like, yeah, fuck this. They just go, it is what it is. I got to go do the mountain all over again. So it's not quite the celebration that I hope it is.
Sometimes you can do, like, I mean, if you're obviously the best, hopefully your game beats everybody, but sometimes you even are giving everybody gets to see, like, your pretty recent game plan and, like, what your strategies and attacks are within the last 6 months at West Coast trials, which isn't always, like, a game changer, but sometimes it can just be, like, an indicator.
Yeah. Well,
you guys kind of stole my answers now. Now I don't have much of one.
Sorry. I mean, here's the dumb part. I like getting the conversation out there. And here's the nice part. There have been some modifications to ADCC that I think are good. But one of my favorite things was when Mo was like, yo, we got a third weight class. I told you to get it done. I was like, okay, well, cool. Now do wins. Like, don't pat yourself on the back until the job's done, you know?
I mean, like, and you know, we still can't get an absolute until we have an even amount of weight classes too. So, but yeah, I'll stop talking. It's a whole thing.
Hey, hold on. Here's the one thing I can afford you. The one thing I can afford you is if I say it, it's not you saying it. So I just like to get the perspective of what do you think, and usually the answer is, would be nice for something else. But Chris, I'm sorry, we were interrupting you, sir.
That's all right. Yeah, so basically, I would just say I agree with everything you guys said about the competition experience and about just generally going out there if you're on the East Coast, because it's not like you're making a trip or paying to go out there. The only thing I would add, obviously, you could give up maybe like some of your game plan, but you can also get like a feel of who you may be competing against if you say you go to West Coast afterwards, if you win or not. Like if you have a match with someone who shows up at West Coast, maybe you have a little bit better of a game plan going into that match if you have the same match, or other matches, just switch up your strategy. It gives you a second opportunity.
That's
Good
fair.
point.
It's a very, very solid point. I just like the idea that as I'm looking at this right now, we have another guest who's joining us. So Brian, hold on for 1 second. I'm going to pull you on. But before we get to that, I just want to make sure as we kind of go back to one thing, which is, if we are looking at this, though, what is something that you would like to see fixed before we do the next ADCC? Brian, I'm going to ask you this once I pull you on, so keep that in mind. But what is one thing you'd like to see fixed about ADCC trials? Let's say trials, since we're still on trials. And I'll start with you, Chris, since you answered last.
Oh, this is easy. It'll never happen because they make too much money from it. But I wish they would have some sort of qualification to compete at trials. Like you have 1,000 people competing, and it's just hard to keep track of. I kind of just want to see like the best 64 maybe in each division. Like give us an opportunity, like do something with the open, something where unless you have done maybe placed at trials or have come within like the top 16, you cannot sign up for trials unless you go out and like win an open or get points through open. Something, do something. We can't watch 800 matches at the same time, spend the whole day doing it. I know they make a lot of money from the guys signing up and competing, but it's a train wreck. You have people doing one match, and some people didn't even compete yesterday, and they're already on the round of 32. Why don't we just start at 64 and just have the one day?
Okay, well, joining us right now, friend of the show, Brian Peterson. Brian, let me ask you this. What is one thing that you would like to see fixed about ADC? And I like the fact that we're coming in with the spiciest first take I could have possibly asked you, which is fix ADCC. Okay, and go.
He comes in with, let's just gatekeep it. Honestly, I feel almost the opposite. I think that the most fun thing about the trials is that anyone can sign up for it. We got the highlight yesterday on Flow of the guy wearing the gi getting choked out, and it's just like, yeah, that's trials, anyone's going to be here. But then you kind of see that filter out to when you get to, day two and then the semifinals, you really have like the best people. And honestly, the big thing I think that needs to be fixed is just the coverage of it. I really appreciate today that they have a bout board so that you can kind of see, hey, what's coming up. I know the Flow app has the bracket that you can look through.
Let's stick on this real quick because I need to get confirmation. Am I insane in thinking that wasn't there yesterday? I need someone to just
I didn't see it at all.
It was or was not there because
it was not there yesterday.
Thank you. Okay, because I got here at 6 a.m. in the morning, Best Coast time, and I swear to God, I went around the room and I was like, wait, did I not see that yesterday? Was that my fault? Was I an idiot?
Are we all gaslighting Raph? Are we like, the bout board was always there? The bout board was there before. No, it was 3 years ago. It was there.
I legitimately, if it was a prank that you all pulled on me, I would have had so much more relief and been like, oh, you guys got me. Instead, I'm here at the gym by myself, like getting ready to go on, and I go, no, it wasn't there. It couldn't have been there. I know it's not there. I've seen it's not there. Anyway, we got a couple notes here. Daily Stack says, at the very least, put the mats in numerical order on Flow. That seems like an easy fix. Number two, they could do something like Race Sports does. Yeah, sure, don't mix the metaphors because we're too dumb for other sports. We don't know how to do that here in grappling. We're very simple folk. Okay, Sarah, what is one thing that you would like to see them fix?
I agree with what you were just saying about, like, I like the accessibility. I think that's kind of that fun factor about things. The other, like, IBJJF and stuff has so many different barriers to competing that you never really get a true taste of who's out there. But I do think that you just have to have some kind of map or direction. Like it would have been a lot easier yesterday if we just had the bracket list or something, right? Just even if it's a rough draft that you don't have to just like monitor all day in case you miss something, and you can just kind of know, and you can like go grab a bite to eat or go to the bathroom.
You know what it is it's a hostage situation. Like
Yeah.
these things are literally like, you can't leave. And that's why when you guys, and again, I'm very thankful that we have correspondence, but I would like to hope that I make it in the most easy way possible, where I put a schedule up and I say, hey, just let me know kind of a general area when you're showing up. Because people are like, well, what do you want me to do? And I'm like, whatever you can. Like, it's too long to have me tell you guys, like, you better be at that fucking desk at 8:05 p.m. You better be there at 6:03 a.m. when I go. I'm like, listen, everybody's got to go live a life. We're about to come back. Before we start getting kind of like our things all over, BP, you are first on the line here because I just got a note asking, how's the plus 99 going? So I don't know if you caught this. By the way, and I want to put this up before I even ask you this. There was a guy in a gi? Like, holy shit. How did I forget that too? What the fuck is happening? Like, now it's a fever dream that's happening here. But, Brian.
It's ADCC. There's no rules. Wear what you want.
Well,
Bring
those
in
guys who
anybody
come
you
in
want.
are always terrible.
I will tell you, as somebody who was there in person, I want to say for the 2017, and there was a dude who looked insane and had a gi on out here at West Coast Trials. When he had a gi on, he looked mentally unstable, and I remember thinking to myself, like, hey, does somebody want to go talk to that guy? Because I don't.
I'm sure he did great too, right? Yeah.
You don't never heard of again. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But BP, the question was to you, which is, how's the plus 99 going, sir?
No, plus 99. I don't know. Those are the big guys, right?
Yeah.
We got who's in the semis right now? It looks like we got Big Dan and a couple other people. I've been following minus 55.
Sure.
Yeah.
I just, somebody threw a question at me.
I
I
you.
decided, since you're here, you get it first. Because
no worries.
I got you on the plus 99.
You got us on plus. I'm going to go over to Chris. Chris, what's the plus 99 word, sir?
We got Big Dan versus Amir Alam from 10th Planet coming up, and Damon Ramos versus John Hansen. They've pretty much all dominated their divisions so far, pretty much all subs throughout. And then we had John Hansen take out Vince Pizzuto from B Team, 9-0. So these are the four guys everyone's been looking out for. They're coming up, and I'm predicting we see a Big Dan, Damon Ramos finals here probably.
Very nice. Can I point this out, though? How much do you have to give up on nicknames to be like, Big Dan? That good? That work for everybody here? It'd be like, there's nothing else you got?
It's catchier than Mini Gordon. So, like...
It's just every time I hear Big Dan, I think to myself, like, what a fail of the American education system to give a good nickname. Like, that's all.
Everyone's like, I can't say that last name, and he's gigantic.
And then when you think about it, you're like, well, he competes in a weight class with other big people. So at a certain point, you're like, hey,
but he's the biggest,
going up against Big John. So here we go.
I think he's one of the biggest guys, even at that weight class, though. So I mean, I've met him in person a few times. He came to train with us like a couple times. Dude's like 6'7", 300 pounds. He's gigantic.
That is fair. I'm going to go back over to you, BP. I want to ask, you were tasked with a weight class. I would love for an update on said weight class, sir.
Yeah, the 55ers, have really been coming out swinging. Jasmine Rocha, who made it to the semis, start off with really fast, like a heel hook to basically like a side knee bar, coming out swinging, and she just won her last match with a pretty vicious arm bar as well. Just subs along the way, I know Lauren Sears in the first round from 10th Planet got a really nasty arm bar, and then we're seeing a lot of rear naked chokes just in the last match. Trying to remember who exactly it was. I believe it was what was her name? Enriquez, I think. She took on Felicia Marceau and was really just hunting for this guillotine like the entire time. So a lot of big finishes, and I think that we've heard a lot about how ADCC feels about women and women's weight classes. So it's nice to see that they made a stand and said, well, if we have more women, we're going to make them cut more weight than 60. We got to make them go down to 55.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I have been a huge proponent of multi-weight classes for this, and I think we're at a time where it just should happen. What I would say, though,
starting.
Yes, we do have the big boy division going on first. We will disperse here in a second, but I wanted to get any expectations as we get into this semifinal. Does anybody have anything wild that they think or predict will happen in the semifinals? It could be out of what you were tasked. I'm going to go start with you, Sarah.
I'm just predicting that Helena's going to sub her way through this, and I think she's going to put up a really good fight at West Coast Trials. I'm excited to see what she's going to do.
Chris?
Okay, I got in my division that I was covering, I'm pretty sure we're going to have a Keith-Ethan rematch in the finals, which should be fun. I think there's a good chance Ethan walks away with that one again. I think we're going to see Ryan, Oliver Taza, old teammates and old really close friends in the finals of 77. I think Nikki gets through Kechuk, Oliver gets through Dorsey. And then, as of the 88 division, I think we see J-Rod beat Jacob Couch, William Tackett, J-Rod maybe in that finals there.
And just to
I think we're going to see big.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. It looks like Big Dan is going to move on. So we did just get that update right now. Big Dan moving on, surveying the scene like he's outside of a log cabin, very excited about the tree he chopped down.
Yep, like I said, I thought Big Dan was going to take that one, be in the finals against Damon Ramos. Then I think last one, just for the men, under 99, Paul Ardea. I think we're going to see him in the finals against Devontae, which I believe is a rematch, correct? Did they meet in the finals last time?
Was it Mason? I know Mason and Devontae, and then I'm trying to think with Paul. It's going to take me a second. Again, I want to point you guys out to this direction, which is my brain has turned to mush in terms of the ability to recall and give people stats. And my favorite thing about this broadcast is we have very smart fans who are like, hey, who won this match in 1992? And I go, I don't remember anymore. Honestly, unless I have a teleprompter with it, by this point, we're lucky if I remember my own name. So we get to that point.
Devontae
we got Devontae coming up next, right?
I believe so. I felt like Devontae and Ardella had a match, but I'm not sure.
So it's Devontae and Grandy, and that's going to be a fun match. And then Paul Ardea and Nez. So that's what's happening over there. Brian, I'm going to go on over to you. Do you have any crazy predictions for what we're about to see in the semifinals, sir?
I think at 55, Jasmine Roach has been looking pretty slick this whole day and yesterday. She's coming out really fast with subs, and then if she can't get the subs, she's playing really smart, and I think that's going to get her into the finals. I know there's a war between two Atos women on the other side, but I believe it was Enriquez there in her last match was just complete dominance the entire time. So I think it's going to be her and Jasmine in the finals, and we're going to see how, I think that might be a good challenge for Jasmine. Enriquez looks like she has really good fundamentals and really was just positionally dominant until she got to the back and then just took the head off this poor woman in the last match. Yeah. So I think that one's going to be a good match.
Love it.
Yeah, that'd be.
I agree with that for sure. I've seen Enriquez a lot at like finishers and stuff, just because I'm local to the East Coast, and I would pick her to upset Jasmine. To be honest with you, she's one of the more impressive women I've seen compete like within the last few years on a professional level. I would not be surprised if she beats Jasmine.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Well, here's what I'm going to do, news team. I'm going to go ahead and dispense all of you so that you can enjoy semis. If you want to call back in, please do. You have the link. You know where to find me. I'm clearly not going anywhere. So I will leave it to you guys to go ahead and give us a call back in. But I can't tell you how nice it is to be able to have folks who are covering this and what is very nice for me is that clearly there's stuff that even though I have multi-screens, we're losing in translation. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for taking time out of your weekend. Obviously, I would love it if you guys are able to call back in. So open line, please feel free to call back in. Brian, you're required to because this is only your first appearance. But
Yep.
I want to make sure that you guys keep an eye on anything. And now we're expanding it to even outside of your weight class. So if you guys see anything you want to chat about, just hit the line and call me back up.
Sounds good.
All right, you guys.
Sounds good. Talk to you guys later.
Appreciate
Later,
you all.
guys.
See you guys in a bit. All right, we're back here on the main broadcast. My news team has been killing, although I was about to say Brian's still on the line, but he's gone now. So great. What we call him, Tiny Dan. I mean, literally any other nickname. It is the most fucking we gave up nickname. Like, why are we kind of rewarding mediocrity? I guess that's the thing. Let's not do that, guys. So, just saying. All right, so our director, Octavio, has given us 2 screens of glory right now. But here's the weird part, and I just have to keep fucking saying this, though. Look at this. The way that you have to make this on the screen is not provided by Flow. It's something that we have to do. I'm watching a Zoom call is how this is framed.
Yeah.
So this shit is completely insane in terms of how we make this going. And for me, all I'm ever thinking about whenever I'm watching it is just going like, there's not a better way we can make this look. Even them putting a mortise border around it. Because then you could promote shit. You could actually put your sponsors.
Yeah. They should have made where like the background was white with the stupid Flow logo.
Yeah.
It would have made more sense.
But we made that.
This is their stuff. This is that.
Oh, it's the 2 screen.
Single, 2 screen or 4 screen. I just went to 2 screen.
This is so fucking ridiculous. Anyway.
Before we were doing 4 screens on 2 windows.
Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you for being here. Paul Ardila and Adrian Nez. Ardia's he's actually on a footlock right, or a heel hook. Does not quite have it. Lenny says Flow are incompetent. Yeah, I agree. David I'm sorry. You got Johnson and Grandy. Grandy is back over there wearing that secret jiu-jitsu rash guard. And he's feeling pretty loose right now. Again, Grandy was such a welcome presence at our Subversive event a few months ago. Very happy to see him. Amanda Levy coming up next against Elkin on mat number 2. On mat number 4, Foster and McLeese, or McElsey, sorry. And then after that, Savar and O'Connell. That's going to be a very good match. And then Black and Delgado. So we'll be circling back on those matches shortly. But for right now, we are seeing what's going to happen in these 2 semifinal matches. So as we look over here, I like that Grandy's approaching this with the hesitancy of somebody about to cross a bridge but has anxiety. Like, okay, let's move slowly. Because, I mean, if you get Devontae Johnson, you get somebody who's incredibly fast, incredibly good at what they're doing. There's a nice scramble mix between the 2 of them on Nez versus Ardila there. Paul is such a beast, man. I love the way that he competes. He keeps a pretty low profile. A lawyer. So it's weird because I know he's a lawyer, but then I think his brother, who we also saw compete this weekend, is the one that goes by black belt lawyer on his thing. And I go, wait, you're both that guy. I don't know that you can get away with one of you being that guy. So just so people understand the differences between these folks. But I think this has been moving, I will say, at least fairly fast in terms of how we're seeing things go. So I've been very impressed with the action that I have seen here today. All right. Going back to this. You're seeing back and forth here, Grandy, trying to mix it up on the level change, but Devontae actually has a very strong grip, like a collar tie grip, that makes it so that he knows when the level changes are happening. Interesting. Octavio, can you do me a solid? Can you check and see what's wrong with that camera? Right in front of us over this way. That should be back on. Whatever the reason.
Yeah, it's going into some kind of standby mode or something.
Interesting. Sweet. We should be back on that. So we'll give that a second to go. And they are in the crowd. Oh, and that looked not fun.
Yeah, they keep tripping each other off the edges.
Every time I see that, though, I'm always thinking, like, do you want to be in the crowd when that happens? Like, it makes me not even want to be there. Paul's looking for a back take, but instead will settle for side control. And I don't think that's going to be enough time for points.
Why not?
No, he gets the points. It's just because they're bitchy about their points, dude.
That felt like a very straightforward,
like a secure thing, right? You would think that.
Side control. If it was the problem with a lot of these guys, they end up trying to fight for back, and that's a hard one to really say. You have back, really. But side control is pretty obvious. If you get side control, you're in side control.
Paul Ardelia is going to continue on and return back to somewhere he's very familiar with, the finals of an ADCC trials. Congratulations to him.
You get those points like the last 20 seconds.
Last 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And that's where I thought it was potential that he wouldn't be able to maintain the position. Because I've seen, again, at ADCC, they make it very clear. They're like, hey, we like to really, really make sure you earn those points. And as a result of it, when I say I think it sometimes takes 30 seconds, that's kind of what it is.
And Devontae Johnson has an advantage. So if he maintains this for the next 2 minutes, he will advance.
Yep. Wait. Is that? I think that's a negative. I think it's a negative. I think actually that works against him. At this point, Grandy, he's not ahead, but it is interesting to see how that's playing.
Disadvantage point, like what were you like not engaging kind of thing?
It
like
says,
running sort of thing.
How can I hear more coaching than Brandon on Flow Zone? I don't know. That's a great question. Brandon is, he's a beloved human being. Can't hate on that guy.
One of the best.
All right, we're coming up on time. Amanda Levy just looks like she's just waiting, like circling prey, kind of pacing back and forth.
Has the Devontae Johnson-Grandy match gone to the floor? Have they done anything on the ground at all?
I want to say for a split second it looked like we could have been, but it's mostly been back and forth on the feet, especially in the past several minutes.
So just two bulls locking antlers?
I mean, wait.
Horns?
What just happened?
With what?
Amanda Levy.
Did they raise a hand? Or?
Yeah, but it looked like he pushed them off.
The referee pushed it? That's homie ref.
It is homie ref. No, but I don't know exactly what happened there. So if anybody here can fill me in on what happened, I don't know. I mean, the way that he was talking to her, I can't tell. Maybe she was injured or there was a forfeit of some sort.
I mean, I'll look on the price.
But I didn't look down for that far. And it's entirely possible we did have a finish on that, but that
would have been
that's insane. Okay.
Absolutely insane. Are they starting with the heavier weight class and moving down?
They kind of mix it up a little bit, yeah. So they went to the big boys.
So you said Levy and Elkin?
Yeah.
It
So
says it hasn't started yet. At least there's no winner so far.
well, I see a 0-0 score. So maybe they're telling them we want to wait to do weight class. Maybe that's what that conversation was. Because it just didn't make sense to me. I think they don't want to mix and match. I think they're going to try and do each weight class. So now Grandy also has a negative on him.
For what?
I think these are just negatives when they call for some kind of stalling or something to that effect. And I think because the two of them have been very aggressively pushing back and forth without like an actual finish to it, I think sometimes it becomes an interpretation. And Grandy's doing the muscle pose, which I don't know what that means.
I don't see what either of them did to have won that match. That's the most stalemate.
I mean, if you think about it, though, the gents from 10th Planet, from Keith to Grandy, know the appearance of make it seem like you won.
And he does.
And he does pick up.
Oh, because he got
a second
disadvantage.
stalling
Where
or
did
a
that come
disadvantage
from?
call. Yeah. Wow.
That came out after the time.
I'm confused as to what happened, but yes, now we are back on with Amanda Levy and Elkin. So that does make sense. I was like, what the? That couldn't have ended. It didn't make any sense. But anyway, you know what does make sense? You guys are watching the show. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name's Rafa Esparza. We are continuing on this trajectory of coverage for all things ADCC trials. We have been making our way through. There have been, I don't even know that it surprises as much as just like, damn, like statements. That's really what it is. I don't know that I've been surprised by a ton of things, but you are seeing a lot of consistency for the people who tend to do well, doing well. So here's what we are into in terms of schedule. Right now, all brackets round of 16. That was supposed to be at 7:30 a.m. So right now, no, semifinals is 9:30. So we are slightly ahead of schedule. If that is holding after we do the semis, you do have to fight for third place. So that means we're going to have bronze medal matches. Then there's a break. Holy shit. I'm just seeing this now. Yeah, I think that's what it is. They have a break scheduled at 1:30 p.m. with the finals at 3 p.m. Eastern. So the finals are gonna happen approximately an hour and a half after. I think it's to give them some time to get their shit together. Okay.
That goes against the whole tournament idea. Then
I mean,
just go.
I mean, listen, the one thing that I do understand is you give them some opportunity to rest, because now that you're getting to the point where there's less matches for them to kind of recover during that time. Yeah, you can give them an hour. But an hour and a half is a very interesting amount of time.
Absurd.
In between. I could see maybe 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's
like a 30 minutes, and then if you're flow, you do a program that's like, hey, let's do a recap. Yeah, I don't know. And I don't know if they'll stick to it. So we I think they are. I think they are an aggressively stubborn group of individuals. But here's some good news, Octavio. I think food is coming very soon.
That helps.
It does very much help. So, oh my goodness. All right. On the screen, Amanda Levy looks like she has a back take here. She may be working on a rear naked choke. Elkin is doing her best to fight these grips, but I think Levy is going to take that. And there is a tap. Congratulations to Amanda Levy, who will return to an ADCC final herself once again. So I was mentioning just a few minutes before, it's not really surprises in one sense, which is we've seen these people do well before. So it is unsurprising in the sense that it's like, oh yeah, I've seen them kill it. They're great. Oh yeah, that person's great. I wonder how this will go. So we have that on that stream. It is nice that my Flow Grappling account now gets a slight reprieve from 12 streams going on to just 2. Foster and McElsey is on right now. Matt 4, you are correct. Sorry, it was just updating me right now that our food is, it says time sensitive. They're almost there. I love whenever like Postmates goes time sensitive.
Yeah.
I think they know. It's just like, don't fuck with people's food, dude. These also seem like hostage negotiation moments, though, whenever they drop off the food. Because when we're doing a broadcast and you leave like, hey, go ahead and leave it in the office. They do this like,
and we'll release the hostages.
Like yesterday, the dude, when he made eye contact with us, puts the bag down, looks over and goes, all right, let me double check something here because I wasn't sure if I missed a certain thing on that in the big boy category. Reed fell to, yep. And the Ramos and Hansen. Okay. So I'm going to bounce to quarterfinals. All right. So your finals again, and that was a sub by Ramos that happened a little bit earlier. Big Dan versus Ramos, which is exactly what Chris was pointing out and predicted. So congratulations to him on that. Just to remind you guys. Meanwhile, on the negative 99 category, our final is going to be Paul Ardila versus Alex Grandy. And that is actually, I like that a lot. Grandy, he's been working really hard. He's been a savage. I'm glad he's getting his due. Paul is a vet. He's beaten the system before. He has already won a trials experience. So I think that will be a very interesting match. Paul has the experience angle on him, but I think the weird part is Paul is very sneaky at a good leg lock game, and that is not going to be something that you can really slip by the good folks over at 10th Planet. So it'll be interesting to see how they kind of go and negate against each other. So after this, we then go to the negative 55 division. We finished that out. So we're in the process of doing that right now. So we will be keeping you guys up to date, but it's a little bit easier to keep things in perspective for these weight classes that we are seeing at the moment. I'm going to go ahead and check our comment section to make sure I'm not missing anything. And it says, Homie Ref is back. Yes, he is. I meant I can hear more noise than him. Yeah, I understand. That makes sense. Is standing and dancing the ADCC version of holding a guy down and winning by an advantage? That's a great question. Hello, good morning. Thank you. That's a great question. I like the idea. I don't know. I hate to tell you guys this. I'd like to think I would be a good sport, but I'm pretty sure I would be showing it up to the crowd if I was any of these people. I would 100% be up there getting crunk in front of people, telling people what I thought about them. Good sportsmanship, be damned. Yeah, I got tots too with that. Oh, I don't think that's ours. What the fuck? Oh no, hold on.
Oh yeah. So this is not ours.
All good. We wanted to make sure you're good. Let me point this out to you. A man comes back. I want you to see how many things are on this receipt. There's literally 2 things that I got on this receipt. The 2 things are one for each of us. And you come over and you're like, you got a lot of stuff. And I was like,
Yeah, it was like 3 bags full of stuff.
and then I see boba and a Monster Energy drink. And I go,
It's like, okay.
and my,
Go, Ref, go.
so it looks like McElsie is working on a rear naked choke finish. She could be very well off here in a few minutes. But, you know, I'm going to be very well off because I am very, very hungry. Naked choke. It's interesting to see a burrito in styrofoam.
I guess
And then in...
And then wrapped again. Okay. So, we're the problem with the environment. Us?
It's just, I feel like, you know, one of those Russian doll things that they just keep coming into like separate things like that. All right. So one mat is completely empty, but it looks like,
She's been pacing for a long time.
yeah.
We've
already,
start the mat. I don't know what's going on.
again, I think they're just trying to have a pronouncement of this is the weight class we're doing at this moment. And then we move on. It seems like
there's only 2 if I see.
Yep. I think they try to close out each thing so that you get used to the idea of saying like, and now your eyes are ready for a 66K. Okay. You know, honestly, I never know. When I try out a new place, I'm like, we'll see.
You always hope for the best.
Oh, man, you do. But you know what? Damn it.
That's all they got in the bag.
I was about to say, I was like, hot sauce.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that's missing from yesterday.
Maybe this.
Oh, you gave me one?
Right there.
Oh, thank you. I was like, holy shit, how do they not have fucking any kind of sauce for this shit? It should be a decree that if you have any kind of burrito, there should be some option for it.
Even if you don't use it, I expect to see it in the bag.
Absolutely. I just find it insulting if you don't. So a few minutes ago, like Elsie was in on a rear naked choke, not quite finishing it. Foster finding her way back, but arm could be compromised. There's a nice little weave of the leg underneath. There's 2:15 left to go in this match. Now, coming up in a few minutes, that Cravaar and O'Connell match is going to be one to watch. So if you guys are just tuning in right now, keep an eye out for that. I think that is going to be fire. And again, if this is your first time watching our show, I don't always eat. Not on air. But when we do a marathon stream, you will watch me eat partially. And I'm trained to not always speak with my mouth full. Notice, it's on this side of my mouth. Because I'm classy. I do, I think I like this burrito a little bit better.
Was the other one too much sauce?
No, it's just, it needs more of the hot sauce, but this and this together, it's nice.
It's a good mix. Yeah. It's more of a traditional style burrito.
I agree.
The other one was one of those. We're creative. Look how crazy we are with all the stuff we put in our burrito.
I saw here, keep an eye on Adrian Nez versus Pauladira for semifinals in 99 kg. Sure.
Didn't Adrian Nez already go?
Well, I'll be like, we did. How far back is your subscription taking him? Maybe we got the good subscription on Flow that allows you to know things up to date. All right. Now, McKelsey in mount. With only 30 seconds to go, she should probably, has she already gotten the points? I think she should probably get more points for this right now.
Yeah, Adrian Nez is already out. He lost the last match by points to Ardilla. So that first place match is Ardilla versus Brandy. So I guess maybe Nez is in the third place match against Devontae Johnson.
Yeah.
So that'll be Adrian Nez's next match.
Yeah, I think he's just slightly behind.
Do people even stay for third place?
You have to.
You have to stay. Because there's some of those guys, like, if I don't get first or second, I'm leaving.
Exactly. But I think it's also because you want that good seed in case there's dropouts. So if there's dropouts at ADCC, you definitely want to try and do that. But thank you very much for that, Bryce. Appreciate you for chiming in. I'm going to go ahead and put this on over. I don't know exactly how this works, but we'll see if it does come up. This could be Keith again.
Yes, feel free not to zoom in on the only match happening.
Amazing. Amazing. So good.
That all that time to get ready, and it did nothing.
It says Keith versus Krellenston for the finals.
As I predicted.
Well, let's see. We're close. I think we're still. Oh, so Var is playing off of her back. I think she's already looking for a leg. She is, of course, of the new wave. I just see Danaher's posts about her, and she has. Oh, she's already in on a footlock, and Allison firing back, using that foot to try and distance any kind of sort of attack here. But both of them, there's almost like a mirror on how they're attacking. It's just, it looks like Var. She does get the tap very quickly. Wow. Oh,
O'Connell's really good, especially in the leg position.
Yeah, she's very good. I think she took a moment. I hope she's not injured, but Yeah, I think she's hopping a little bit. Congratulations so far. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Very, very good to see. I did see a note here that we are getting a call, so I'll go ahead and take that momentarily. But before I do, there we go. We are back off on that. Anthony is going to be joining us. Let me go ahead and pull him up. Let me see over this way. Oh, host and guest. That should be popped up right there. All right, so we have been barreling through coverage all day long. If you guys are just joining us, my name is Raf Esparza. You will eventually be excited by all of the things that Flo has to show you, but I am excited to bring on a friend of the show. It has been far too long since I have seen this young man, but I am glad that he is able to join us right now. What is up, Anthony?
Ralph, what's up, man? How's it going?
Brother. Chilling, brother. Look at that. Growing the hair long, I see.
Dude, yeah, looking like a homeless person, but
No. If you looked homeless, I would tell you. You don't look homeless. It's actually still stylish. All it looks like is you're probably going to be a little bit of a hipster at a cafe that I'm going to be like, yo, dude,
sure.
Cut your hair, hippie. But how are you doing, man?
I'm good, man. This is the face of someone who hasn't seen sunlight in about 2 days, just watching trials like a basement dweller.
So when you say you're a basement dweller, in years past, if you lived in New York, that was actually a major compliment. So that was a good thing. So I guess what I'm asking you right now is, sir, what beat did you have for coverage for us?
Dude, I had nothing. So I think you asked me to cover 99 or either 99, minus 99 or plus 99, but I ended up doing neither. I slept in for all of the big guys today. I don't know how you woke up at 6 a.m. I couldn't even wake up at 9 a.m. So
I will tell you exactly how I woke up at 6 a.m. Lots of cocaine. Like, legitimately, this is when everybody says this is the Olympics of our jiu-jitsu event, it's like, well, cocaine is the Olympics of my event. So I legit am just sitting there and I'm good.
Dude, it's insane. I mean, for like organizers or just anyone like staffing the events in any capacity, they're just like marathons. I remember like the actual world championships were like 15, 16-hour days, even if you're just like sitting there watching. I can't imagine what it's like to, professionally cover something like that. It's like pretty absurd.
Here's the good news. We don't have anybody professionally covering it or doing it, so we're good.
True. Hey.
I'm just telling you, whenever I see this stuff and I see what Flo does, I go, oh, we're fine. Yeah, okay.
Yo,
does Flo barely have a scoreboard up? We're doing just great, guys.
Oh my God. Yeah, are you shocked by anything that's happened so far? I mean, I feel like, like apart from like an upset here and there, like more than anything, my takeaway is that like the blue chip like stocks in jiu-jitsu will always end up like prevailing. You know what I mean? It's a very hard sport for you to see like real upsets or any real surprises at these tournaments. But let me know if you don't agree with that.
I'll put it to you this way. I'm looking at some of the people who might win and being like, well, I guess I'm interviewing them again. So, I've interviewed them for winning this. It's a note of their consistency. I think every once in a while, though, there is an element for maybe not to be a surprise, but an element for people to show that they are emerging or people to keep an eye on. Because Kachuk, I mean, he's going up against Ryan, and with Nicky, you get the sense he's probably going to win. But at the same point, it's a great showcase for him.
I was surprised by Nicky Ryan, Cody Steele. I thought I feel like the narrative for Nicky Ryan going into this weekend was like the cardio might be an issue. He hasn't looked maybe like the best up until this. During the quintet, he like gassed out seemingly pretty easily, but he made quick work of everyone, including Cody Steele, which if you're taking the cardio argument would be like a really bad matchup for him. But it's pretty insane, man. He's just like slicing and dicing like 1 minute, 2 minute subs like consistently up until now.
When you think about it, and Cody Steele had the most heat this weekend. Like, him going off to the dirty Jersey carpet was what made me go, Yeah, dude, that's the legendary shit that you're gonna have, is suplexing dudes onto a casino ballroom floor. Like your status is secure even without winning. So
Dude, that was such a good moment. Like, just everything about that. It felt like a schoolyard fight. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, just like everyone like circling, just raucously yelling. It was beautiful. I mean, I feel like that's what they want, right? That's like the epitome of trials. Like, just like slam dudes onto dirty, filthy casino carpets where God knows how many people have just been stomping. Oh my God,
Could you just take a moment to
disgusting.
acknowledge though that in no other sport do you have that? Like, if people were trying to go in the Olympics, nobody, like Simone Biles isn't going off a street platform and trying to balance beams off of some random railings. Like, we're the only sport where you go, let him go. You know.
I, I don't know. You probably didn't catch it, but Mo was doing a live after trials last night, and he had actually AJ on with him during the live, and AJ was actually being like a pretty good devil's advocate in terms of like, hey, it's sort of unprofessional that you have these people going off of the mats onto concrete, onto casino floors, onto wherever. Like, what other sport does that happen? And also, like, AJ was making the argument that sometimes boundaries do make for compelling like play, like tennis or like wrestling or whatever, basketball. But I don't know, Mo seems pretty like staunch in not wanting that. Like, his argument is that you create constant resets. It creates an opportunity for people to game the system, which I understand. But I mean, what is the solution? Because even now, as they're doing semis, like during the Devontae match just now, like even with two mats, they're consistently going to the boundaries anyway. So like, I don't know what you really do. I don't think the Joe Rogan like fight in a basketball court thing really works. Like, you can't do it in a cage. You can't do it. I don't know. What really is the solution? At least they're not on a stage. That's like the good thing. No one's gonna fall off of like a 3 foot block, but it's always gonna be messy, it seems. I don't think there's like a neat solution for it.
Yeah, there is.
What is it then?
Barbed wire.
Resets?
Just
Barbed wire, okay. Yeah.
Because you'll make a lot more choices if you're like, yo, my back's going to get in that barbed wire.
No,
If you're like,
I actually like I like the idea of like the Undertaker Canting Inferno match. Just put like a bunch of like just light the sides on fire. I don't
you know what? We're going to be the idiots that make like the Punjabi prison match reemerge in jiu-jitsu. They're going to be like, it's the worst match I've ever seen. And we're like, yet? Just wait until we get AJ Aga's arm in the Punjabi prison match, and then let's see what happens there.
ECW of Jiu-Jitsu.
Dude, it would be fun. I mean, I don't know. Like, Raph, would you prefer that they fight on a stage or keep it as it is or introduce resets? What do you think for real?
Legitimately, I don't like them going off. I think, God, I don't want to, let's get this out of the way. I don't want to agree with it just because it's AJ Aga's arm. Let's be very clear about that. I think that AJ is taking it from the perspective of whatever wrestling is, that's the rule set, because that's a little bit closer to what he grew up with. I think the issue I have is that in replicating that, there's a magic when it's Cody Steele that you go, oh man, but I mean, look at the beautifulnul of that. There's a lot of ways that can go wrong. And when that goes wrong, nobody wants to be responsible. So like Mo's taking a very like, I don't know. But if that dude had his neck fucked up from a suplex from Cody Steele, that's a very different conversation. And that's where I get into that element of, I don't want to see anybody get injured. I want to see them succeed. And I think that's where the appeal, and I think that's where you find people who have like this death wish. Like, jiu-jitsu is not a fight to the death, at least it shouldn't be. And on occasions, it may be very injury prone, but there's something about the idea of you can't replicate that. You can't make that happen anywhere else. So if it goes off, who's to say that person won, per se, and that was a strategy to go outside. For me, I was telling people jokingly, I was like, yeah, if you take somebody out side of the Jersey floor mats. You may not have won the battle, but you're going to win the war when you don't have STDs. I just know that it looks good for social media, but bad for the sport. And here's why I want to define that. Yep. Right now, a couple things are coming up. Rocha and Ung, and on the other side, Enriquez and Cherrier. I'll give you some updates right now, but it does look like we could have a submission going on the mat number 2. So updates to follow on this. But to kind of finish this, that's a very cool submission. Are you seeing this right now?
Wow. Mother.
Anthony, are you able to see?
Well, I can't see it, dude. Since I have you open.
It's a Sophie's choice. You had to choose me over the thing.
Yeah,
okay.
Yes.
Well, I'll make this quick so we can get you back on over that way then. What I'm trying to point out here is this. It is, if we have something like, good for the sport. Okay. If you have something that is more social media based, you can build off of it and do more. So every once in a while, it's got a novelty to it. And that's awesome. But it's the same people who get excited for watching your Dylan Dennis and your sideshow of a Paul brother. And when you get that, you go, okay, how do I balance these two? So when people are like, oh, that Dylan Dennis, that was a terrible exhibition of athleticism. Is that what you expected? Did you not expect that to just be a farce? So that's the thing I don't want us to become. Is I don't want us to become a farce where it's like, let's just see how many times we can go off the mats. If you do, you want to be able to reset in the position. But then you get people who bitch up. Allison Enriquez in on a mounted guillotine, and she gets a tap. Congratulations, Alex Enriquez. Alex Enriquez getting the win right there, helping her opponent back up. That is dope to see. But what are your thoughts on my response to that, sir?
So I have 2 points. So for one, I think that I think a sobering moment that sort of adds to your argument is that like during Worlds when Kendall came off the mat. When I first saw it live, I thought Kendall like smashed her head on concrete, being taken down. Do you remember when she broke her leg? Like she fell, she pancaked back, and it seemed like, oh shit, okay, this is finally the moment where, the chickens come to roost, and it's very apparent that, like, yeah, we should institute some type of boundary. Now, again, I don't think it's going to happen, but my second point, though, in regards to what you're saying about being good for social media or maybe internally within the sport, but bad for growing the sport, it sounds like the steroid argument where, like, within the sport itself, the tastemakers of the sport have created this environment that is conducive / tacitly condoning / openly promoting steroid use. And while, it creates some social media buzz within this sport, whatever, it creates some type of debate, ultimately it's going to create the ceiling on this sport in which it's never going to become a fully accepted mainstream thing. It's not going to be something that big sponsors are going to want to get into because it creates a circus of an event when really it should be taken a little bit more seriously.
Thank you for agreeing with me. Here's what I want to say. I have to kick you off right now because I know you don't have any other streams or ways of watching it and talking to me at the same point. But right now we're at the -88 semifinal. So you got J-Rod versus Couch. You've got Tackett and you've got Cruz. So I'm going to let you go. Call back in after that, but I don't want you to miss these matches, sir.
Raph, you're going to cut me off after the steroid thing. I just opened up Pandora's box and you're going to let me go, but okay.
No. You're going to call back. We're not done here. I have still lots of shit to talk to you about. And I have another point I never even got to. So go. We'll see you in a little bit, brother.
Okay, all right, peace.
All right. Anthony Orta. I love the fact that we're able to call our friends and I can just yell at them. Like, legitimately just have a moment of like, hey, shut the fuck up and go watch this, kid. That's how I have trained with friends over the years where I just go like, hey, yeah, I'm great. I know I'm great, but go watch this. Bryce was asking Keith versus Krellenston in the finals. So right now we're at semis. That's a big opportunity for that to happen, but we got to get there first. And we're circling our way through right now. I think we are slightly ahead of schedule. We'll see. But we're looking for a big takedown here for Tackett, who isn't quite in on a full takedown, but instead might have just pulled himself into a guard against Elder Cruz. On the other side, right-hand side, J-Rod and Couch, back and forth between the two. I think I have interviewed everybody except for Couch. I think this is a very interesting aspect. I love all these kids. They're very, very nice, all of them. Very good to interview and very good to chat with. But it is my hope that you guys, as you're watching, if you are enjoying what you're seeing, feel free to go ahead and send us in some comments, concerns, hints, allegations as we are watching this all together. I'm doing my best to keep a note on here. W Terp says, thanks for the live stream. I appreciate you, of course. Doing our best. Couch may be in on a leg attack here on J-Rod. J-Rod in trouble. Jacob Couch, always very deadly from this position. J-Rod has to be very, very careful, and he's kind of taking his time to process what that is. Meanwhile, in the other match, Tackett playing off his back, inverting almost, takes a moment, gets on his neck and shoulders, and he is now back to making sure that he can attack Elder Cruz. J-Rod still getting more concerned about this leg. He is trying to pry it back on open. This is looking very good for Couch, who rechambers it as they're spinning out. J-Rod not quite as fast on the escape. I did notice I am getting a call over here, so let me go ahead and see who is giving us a nice little mention. I've got Kevin. Kevin is joining us. Well, let's go ahead and bring on Kevin Bradley, who I guess is our on-site coverage right now. Kevin Bradley is over at the actual event. I'm surprised that he has reception, but we'll bring him on and see what it's sounding like. Kevin, what is it like in the chaos over there, sir?
Hey, Raph, can you hear me all right?
I can hear you. How are you, sir?
I'm good. A few things for the viewers. I know I was supposed to be on call last night. Fully forgot to charge my phone. That's a my bad problem.
Wait, that's the reason you weren't on air?
I just arrived. I was with my dad. We caught some of the matches last night, and I realized that my phone was dead. I had no way to charge it. It was very embarrassing, and I never connected the dots with you after the fact. So, that just goes to show you how out of the league I am professionally. But like you said, this is Flow Grappling, so the bar's already on the floor. I don't feel that bad about it, but I do want to apologize to you and the viewers. Incredible matchups so far. Like you said, I've been asking a few people about their consensus on the event. Not a lot of upsets. Not a lot of new stars coming out of the trials. But so far, in terms of the quality, no one seems to have many complaints. We're getting some really solid performances from the B team and Nicky Rod. Just also the random people you see walking around here are kind of nuts. I believe Nicky Ryan's about ready to get going. What about you? Have you had any favorite matchups so far?
Honestly, and I've said this a couple times, but I think I've been waterboarded with jiu-jitsu, so I don't know that I have favorites. I just have things that have stood out to me. Obviously, Cody Steele's run was very fun. Friend of the show, Bobby Winter's run was very fun. And, of course, Keith Krikorian looking very, very good. I do want to update people. We did just get a note. Jacob Couch did win, and Christian Hickman was asking, how did he win? And it looked like it was a foot lock.
I think it was a straight ankle lock.
Was it a straight ankle? Okay. So I think that's
what people are saying. Yeah, that's what people are saying here. Sorry, I distracted from the actual jiu-jitsu.
No. I like the idea that the way that you phrase that, though, that's what people are saying here. One, you're there. Two, when you say people are saying it, it sounds like Trump. People are saying that there is a straight foot lock. It's big time money. Everybody knows it.
People are saying Aoki lock, but not me. That's not what I'm saying.
So, no, the reason why I'm laughing is, and now I get the context a little bit better. But when the last time I left off with you, when you go, hey, Raph, I'm going to round up some interviews. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then all of a sudden I don't hear from you. And I go, well, I guess nobody wanted to talk to us.
I had Adam Bradley in front of me, and I was telling him I'm so embarrassed. I was supposed to like try and get you on with Raph. And he's like, yeah, that guy's been chasing me down for interviews for a while.
Yeah.
But I haven't been able to. Oh, hey, Cody, great job.
Hey, Cody,
Hey, it's
good
Cody
to see you,
Steele.
brother.
That's
Cody,
Rafa Sparza.
Be very, very careful. Don't kill
You wanna
anybody,
say hi?
sir. Yo, Cody, can I ask you this, buddy?
Tell me.
Why are you suplexing people off of the mats? Are you okay? Was that dude okay? However, it's also the best photo I saw all weekend.
You did kind of have the big highlight of the event so far.
Yeah, like you said, I was coming here, put on some good show, get some scraps in, support the brand and all that. And
can I ask you this, though? The next time we roll, you aren't doing that to me. Like, can I get an assurance? Because the last time I asked you not to do something to me, you slapped me in the face. And now, if I ask you to not suplex me on my neck, it would really, really be great for me.
I'll say,
Hey, Cody, I don't want to keep you too long, but I appreciate you, brother. Great stuff this weekend. You look like a monster, and go give our best to William as well and the Tackett boys.
Thank you very much, man. Really appreciate it. That was Cody Steele, everybody.
Look at that.
Even more handsome in person, I can confirm.
He's a sweetheart. We love him. I just love the fact that
Absolutely.
he took time out for us, especially just moments after William Tackett is finished competing as well. Now, as we're saying this, we've got Taza and Dorsey and Ryan and Kirchhoff. So I guess I should ask this. Is there anything that we haven't seen on camera that has been notable to you, sir?
Personally, I feel like I'm seeing a lot more top pressure. I was talking with Kevin Gallagher, friend of both of ours. He's over there if I can get him away from his buddies. But I've been talking with referees as well. We are seeing a lot more aggression from top and failure to respond from the bottom. I think that's really interesting. It is, I will say, in terms of planning, it is tough for someone 5'7" to get a really good view of what's happening if you don't have any of the bleacher space at a premium. But again, I was hoping for a little bit more development of storylines. We're seeing a lot of really good representation from obviously B Team, obviously Danaher's here. I've seen him. He's wearing a beanie, I feel like, to try and blend in a little bit better. But also, I do want to comment, really good action from Nikki so far. Sorry, this is my first time being an on-site correspondent, and I don't know exactly how to pay attention and be a value add to the stream.
I'm going to be honest. It's what you're doing is pretty much what you do on the big kid jobs. Like that, when I've covered the UFC, it's essentially like, hey, tell me about your win.
Well, I'm lucky Cody Steele just kind of was walking behind me. I think Tom DeBlas was behind me a few minutes ago, but much less interest in him. That's Miguel. Man, everyone's moving around. I have to kind of do a side strut to try and get a little bit of a better view. Oh, it looks like Nikki might be going in on a leg lock. I can't really tell. And it looks like he got it.
Wow. I'm going to tell you this right now, Kevin. You are ahead of us in real time because I have not seen it. No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm not a child. I can take a spoiler. Because guess what? I think most of us on our brackets had Nikki Ryan advancing. And just as an update, in case everybody was unclear, Elder Cruz did beat William Tackett on points. So Elder Cruz is moving on into the finals on where he will take on Jacob Couch, otherwise known as the sweetheart of jiu-jitsu and MMA. So very excited to see that. And Taza and Dorsey are still going on with 3 minutes. They are at the points part right now. Kevin, it's looking like a great time, though. Is this your first time going to trials as a participant, or not a participant, but as a viewer?
Not a viewer. Oh, really quick. Oh, Taza. Shoot. Oh, I don't know if I can stream this, but they've just gone into the crowd.
They're off air. We can't see it
Taza's-
anyway. You could show it.
Taza is defending a back take, and it looks like he's about to be choked. A lot of insanity. Cannot believe they're letting this. A lot of people are moving tables.
Wait, what's happening in
man.
the background? Why is that gentleman making motions? Is he motioning
no.
for them to go ahead and move back?
Now they are being reset. Taza had his back taken. They made it this far. That is the mat. And they made it this far. People had to move their tables. And they were letting it go.
We're so delayed on. Oh wow. Wow.
Incredible that they let that continue. It looked like Taza was about to give up the choke, and they wanted to let it ride, but he defended long enough it warranted them to re-switch. They've now reset to the mats, and now they're off. Taza's defending the back, really aggressively trying to turtle up. It looks like he stripped one of the frames. Oh, now he's got to defend the mount. Incredible aggression from both these guys. Absolutely insane.
What a great moment for our friends over at BioPro Plus. Like, I love the fact that they're the people who have the billboard right behind them. So that's how you know the action is going on. Good Lord. Okay, so at any point this weekend, have you been nervous that they were going to, like, have athletes just barrel into you and knock you over? Because I know you seem like you're far and it's hard to see all the action, but that has not stopped people from going into the crowd and continuing on.
No, so there were dicey moments. I was fortunate that because I was here with my dad yesterday, I wanted him kind of out of the splash zone if possible. So I had the good sense to keep a wide berth. Oh, real quick, looks like Taza might have been going for a knee bar there, but it looks like he does not have it. He's defending off his back, trying to maintain half guard. But yeah, like as you were saying, it was a massive amount of overspill into the crowd. Being here in person, I will say it is so much less square footage for the athletes than it appears on camera. That it's much less space to work with.
It seems massively chaotic, and has it been something that you feared for your life at any point?
In fairness, no. But I have very poor self-preservation skills, so it could be a me problem if I'm being completely honest. Although I am realizing Kevin Gallagher might have changed his space. I'm on with Raph. You want to come on? All right, we might have Kevin Gallagher, ladies and gentlemen. He has a very premium spot, though, so I don't know if he wants to give it up.
You know, honestly, let him keep his spot. If that's the case, we're now getting to a point where we have a very exciting series of semis that are about to happen. You've got Crownston and then Kikorian that are going to be happening on two different mats, and it does look like Dorsey is going to spoil Oliver Taza. So
yes, that was incredible exchange from both of them. Easily the furthest distance from the regulation mat I've ever seen a match go. Not just here, but anywhere. And there was a lot of action. The carpet, there were exchanges on the carpet. It was a shocking amount of space that they allowed these guys to go. But yeah, we see Keith take to the mat. I don't know if you have other people. Hey, Nikki, good job, man. That was Nicky Rod.
Sweet.
Maybe off cycle because he looked a little smaller than normal. But
you can't. No. You can't say, "Hey, what's up?" and then immediately be like, "He's on his steroids right now." You guys don't know how much steroid.
Raph. It was not mocking at all. What sport are you commentating on?
I'm just pointing out. Listen, if you ever say hi to me,
that CrossFit guy might be a little juiced to the guilt. Yeah, no one gives a shit, Raph. Sorry, but like, all right. This is the most anabolic room I've ever been in my entire life.
It said it looked like a belly down ankle lock for couch. So just in case you guys are wondering.
Yes.
All right, here. Why don't we do this? I'm going to let you go. Call back in if anything major happens or if you see anything go off the mats, because here's the reason why. We can't see it. They're not zooming in on it, so it literally gets lost to the fucking nether regions outside of the banals of history.
To be fair, well, I'm glad we were able to catch a little bit of it, but to be fair, when being here in person, it does really showcase how unprofessional this entire clown show is. So I get why they don't want it recorded anywhere. It's nuts. Imagine if part of the World Series happened in the bleachers. It's kind of just ridiculous to think about. If Muhammad Ali was chasing Sugar Ray Leonard into the stands, people would have questions about how legitimate what was happening really was. So no shame on them for keeping it kind of off the grid. Yeah, I will be here and I will be available should anything else spill over. But for everyone watching, keep enjoying the stream. Raph, thanks for having me on.
Thank you very much, Kevin. I appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Bradley. Good Lord. What the fuck is that? I didn't expect that we were going to get part of the continuation of these matches on our broadcast, but here we are. And Subspectrum also points out heel hook for Nikki over Kieran. Yes, that is correct. And I'm looking over on this side. Keith Krikorian working off his back against Mejia. Keith Krikorian, did he have an outfit change, yeah?
Yeah.
It's a new rash guard.
It's almost like Keith cares about his opponents and he likes to be clean.
Good for him, man. I'm just saying, no, you're thinking like that. I'm thinking sponsorship opportunities.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
I'm thinking like, well, new match means new rash guard, which means pony up. So it is interesting in the sense for two reasons. You are seeing Alvarez starting to aggressively try to pass Ethan Kronston's guard, and you do get the sense that the power mullet, reminiscent of a young Jean-Claude Van Damme, may be giving power to Ethan Kronston, who was working on a choke, couldn't quite make it happen. Meanwhile, underneath, Mejia is trying to pass Keith Krikorian's guard, and Keith doing an excellent job of making him not able to pass. While at the same time, I'm not sure he's electing to stand back up at this point. I think he's pretty content on playing off of his back in this particular position. You know, it's funny. I just barely saw Bradley send me a note 30 minutes ago that just said, hey, here's what happened yesterday. Do you want me to come on? And he called anyway. That's the right choice. All right. Mejia is trying to attack Keith's leg, and I think Keith almost welcomes it, if I'm being honest, because Keith is excellent at the counterattacks off of these. Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't give a fuck. Meanwhile, Jesus Christ, it looks like guard retention drill only to the nth degree happening over on mat number 2. I have a note here. It says Taza win. No, he did not, unfortunately, Dana. I'm sorry to say he did not, but Taza had an amazing showing throughout the weekend. Now, Mejia a little bit closer on that 50-50, but Keith rechambering has a heel hook. He may not have it all the way. Now you're going to see an opportunity for Mejia to try and attack Keith's leg. Keith trying to pummel it out. Now may have an opportunity to pass. It's with points, so it would be best to try and get on top at this moment. Mejia trying to attack the back of Keith for a split second, has it, but Keith may be out of it. They are rolling, continuing to roll through 5 different mats. And I do think that Mejia may actually end up with points at this point. He gets a body triangle, and we'll see if they start awarding points momentarily to give updates on that front. I mean, they gave it to Keith, and they took it off. Yep, very quickly realized their mistake. Nope. It was a good attempt here. Both gentlemen going back and forth on mat number 4. Kronston, Alvarez, they're probably going to stand back up, and they're going to go back to work. Mejia putting it on Keith, but Keith now gets an opportunity to play off of this. So just so you guys are aware, we're going to end up doing third place matches after this. So I'm seeing on my brackets over here, they are resetting those for that to happen. MacTube, I'm going to answer your question in a minute, but I want to make sure that we get through these next series of moments here while we're doing this live coverage for these two matches. There's 36 seconds. If Mejia holds it, he will beat Keith Krikorian, and he is still trying to attack this leg. Meanwhile, Tasmanian Devil Olympics on the other side of the mat, where Alvarez almost, I think he knows he's short on time. He's working under duress, and Krelenston's doing as best he can to get out of the bad situation. Takes a look up at the points, and Alvarez wastes no time at all going straight back to it. He is relentless with this pressure, and yet no points for it. As a result, I think we may see this one go to overtime. Keith, realizing he's short on time, is going to end up getting eliminated by points, as Mejia is the winner of this match. Keith, taking it in stride and giving props where due. And on this side, Krelenston Alvarez is out of time. We go to an overtime as the referee. I mean, Krelenston's hunting him down, but the referee's reminding him, all right, now we go to overtime. Both gentlemen standing on their feet. Again, as a reminder, we will go to third places very shortly. I do notice, though, we have a call, and let's see who is joining us. I see Chris is joining us right now because that would be an update in the 66 kg category while it is going on. And so this is how you know this is somebody who multitasks, because as it's happening, he wants to give us the updates. And I love the fact that for a split second, to get out of a back waist lock, you saw Ethan Krelenston do downward dog. So, one, good friend, Senor Chris, how are you doing, sir?
Hello, I am back. Yes, big upset. Keith Krikorian goes out to Mejia, who's looked really good this trials. Beat both of the Corbet brothers, just took Keith out on a back take. This guy's been really impressive, and Keith always finds a way to get it done. I was honestly expecting him to get it done here, so I'm very surprised about that.
From my perspective, I think it looked like Mejia did a great job of attacking Keith while playing points. And even though he knew Keith would not literally get submitted by a majority of those attacks, it still made it where he could find an opening eventually for that body lock, that little body triangle that was able to secure him the win. Because I think if you build in a strategy, you got to build in the fact with Keith, there's a high likelihood you're not going to submit him.
Yeah, I mean, he was attacking. He looked good in the attacks too, but he was just able to get to the back. And right now we have Ethan and Dorian going at it. There's only a minute left, and Ethan has a negative. It looks like we might have another big upset here.
Yeah. I like this, though. I like that people were asking. They're like, where are the upsets? Where are they at?
Coming.
I don't see any upsets. And then all of a sudden, it's like, well, Keith Krikorian is out. You go,
Yeah, I mean, I'd be very interested. I hear the B team guys cornering Ethan against Dorian. I know they don't like exclusively train together, but I know he does go there a lot. I kind of wonder how they're going to feel about him training there in the future with him being in the same division as these guys. I know they haven't cared in the past about guys in their division training with them, so maybe it doesn't affect it, but who knows?
I mean, the other thing that's happening is they're in their relative infancy as an organization, so we don't quite know what their platform is other than fun. Like, I think that's their main platform now. It's like, yeah, we're great, we're having fun, but I think the reason why rules get put into structure and why it becomes boring is because they're from established entities that over time have said, yeah, I don't like Creonches. Yeah, fuck those guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even it. I don't know. There's always been problems when guys who you're training with and they start having matches with you, and then you lose to them, and you're the guy in the room that's been there longer. And it just, I mean, I know they have a bunch of guys who compete in the same weight classes just coming in that weren't guys who were like guys who've been there, and they have like outside guys. You have Kieran Kachuk over there. You have other guys, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know how they're going to feel about it going forward. We're definitely going to see. Dorian does get the win over Ethan here.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly didn't expect it just because I figured they've trained together. I thought Ethan would have the upper hand, and he's so much more experienced in the rule set. So it's very surprising. I've also been following along with all the other divisions. I know you said to keep an eye on things, so I have been. We had another upset. Taza lost to a guy named Dorsey. I'm not really sure who he is. I looked back and he had a lot of points wins over guys. So I was a little surprised to see Taza go out to him. I was expecting him and Nikki in the finals. We saw Nikki beat Kichuk by I believe outside heel hook. It looked like. So we'll have Nikki and Dorsey in the finals at 77. Another, again, upset city. Couch, belly down, ankle lock, Jay Rodriguez. J-Rod's out of it. And I don't know if it's an update because Elder Cruz always looks really good, always goes really far. But he got the win over Tack at 3-0. Big Dan and Ramos, who I expected to win, both won by a sub. We had a Grandy beat Devontae Johnson to go to the finals against Ardilla, which another upset there. So we've been seeing a lot of them. We had Helena got the Aoki lock win, which is an upset. She'll be taking on Black, who got a guillotine. And then we have Amanda Leve going to the finals as well, won by rear naked choke. So there's been plenty of upsets for those asking for them.
Nice part is we're at a place where you're kind of getting the sport of it. So we knew the show ponies would do well. Like there are certain names that you just go, they're probably going to do well. We're probably going to do well. But even as we watch some of these third place matchups, you're still like, yeah, Neza and Johnson are really, really fucking good. They could have on a different day been in a final. Yeah. And then John Hansen, somebody who has won the trials before. You're looking at him and you go, okay, that makes sense. So I think the consistency is not to be lost, but I would note to your question or your thought about Dorian Alvarez. I still feel like they're going to be open to him to him. I don't know what other situations may be, but I think in his particular case, it's kind of like he's such a young talent. And I do foresee one thing that B Team maybe kind of understands that most other organizations do not is kind of like social navigation. Yeah, but it's like it's navigation because I see marketing obviously, but I think they also understand the actuality of having someone who has his resources. I think it's good training for them still, and at their core, I would give them that as their main go-to. So there is that, but who knows? I mean, the kid looks like he's got a bright future in front of him, so we'll see how this continues to go.
Very clearly he does. I mean, he just beat one of the guys who've been to ADCC multiple times. He's in the finals against another tough guy. If he pulls that out, he's going to be going to ADCC at 17 years old.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's definitely super impressive. And, I mean, I'm not saying, like, I know what goes on there or anything, like, what the inner workings of B Team is. I've just seen it in the past so many times where guys don't want to compete against guys they're training with. I know Ethan hasn't had a problem with it in the past, so maybe he doesn't care, even though he's lost to former teammates before, and he's beaten former teammates. So maybe it's not a thing with them. I'm not sure, but it would be interesting to see him moving forward. I know he also trains elsewhere and has, like, from what I heard, like MMA aspirations, and he still wrestles. So
I won't be surprised if in the future he says something like, we see a video from Craig that just puts out like, hey, you guys ever give out all your best stuff and then get beaten by it? We do too. B Team. That's why we're not allowing it anymore. And you go, oh, great. But I will appreciate it more if Dorian releases a shit I learned from Craig who learned from Danaher DVD. I think that would actually be the only true comeuppance for Craig that I think feels appropriate.
To be fair, Craig was good before Danaher.
Absolutely was. Nobody discontinues that. But I'm just saying, the way to defeat Craig Jones, I mean, there's many for like 2% of the people in the world. But I think the way to truly defeat Craig Jones is to basically use his marketing against him. So it'd be like, oh, you did this for Danaher. We're gonna market that same way for you, sons of bitches.
Man, I'll take Craig just going at Gordon and basically just like annihilating him in every post that he goes after him at. I'll take it every day of the week. I never want Craig's marketing to stop.
I'll tell you this much. we have referred to Craig, and I will keep saying this until I think it sticks even longer. I think Craig is the Bugs Bunny of our sport. I think that everybody else is insane, and Craig Jones is the one person that goes, get a load of this dude. This dude's insane. And just kind of choose a carrot while they fucking eat themselves alive. And then Gordon, like, is shitting a brick. I mean, if he can, but shitting a brick and being like, how dare this guy get me? And then writes this long post, and Craig just goes, that sounds dumb. And everybody goes, whoa! And like he has like a one-liner, and everybody just goes like that. So to me, that's not lost on me at all. I think Craig is a very valuable and necessary resource in the sport to even out the karma of it, if you would. We did get a couple notes here, and I think you're the right person to have on for this particular thing. But it says,
all right, shoot.
Raph, and by proxy, Chris, because, they addressed this to me, but I'll put it your way. Do you think 10th Planet will ever win ADCC Gold? They're the original. No, yeah, but they've never won. Do you think that they need to change their approach and focus on points? Chris, I'll ask you that because I know too many of them. And guest.
I would go as far to say, I don't know how you mean they're the original. I mean, yeah, they're Nogi guys, but people have been doing Nogi for a long time. And I mean, there's definitely guys there who have ability, like Keith has his ability to do really well at 66 in the actual ADCC. I think there are a few guys. PJ Barch did really well last time out. He took fourth. Those are the guys who have always stuck out to me for a long time. I've been watching them basically since they started. I remember watching PJ against Gordon at a Zapatero maybe 6 years ago before anyone knew who PJ was. Keith back in the day at like finishers and things like that. So, I mean, those guys have always been in the scene and come really close and done really well at trials. And there are some guys out there. John Blank comes to mind of a guy who does, even though he lost today, a guy who's done well in 10th Planet. But I don't know. It's just hard to say. I think that they've struggled in the points aspect. I've seen some of their guys get submitted. I'm not sure. I mean, it's really tough to say. I'm sure someone will come along eventually that will go really far in ADCC, medal in ADCC. I mean, you had Gio. Gio, I believe, is coming third or fourth at an ADCC prior. How many guys win at ADCC? Like, it's not many. There's a lot of the same guys who wind up winning a lot of years in a row. Like, it's very difficult to win. And their guys have won trials, which is saying a lot because trials, as you see today, are very difficult to win. They might even be more difficult than winning ADCC in some terms. Obviously not in terms of like, all right, some of the best guys aren't here, but in terms of what you have to go through to win a trials, it's tough. So I can't say for certainty, no, a 10th Planet guy will never win. I think there are a couple guys who have potential to win, but I don't really see a name that sticks out to me right now as a guy who I could be like, yes, this guy will win ADCC in the future. I don't see anyone on that team that will win ADCC in the future. Let
me go ahead and see if I can answer this. 10th Planet obviously is very good, and there's a reason why you do see a number of them continue to do well in this tournament, even if they don't win. So you've listed off some great names. Obviously, PJ, Keith, Gio, those all spring to mind very quickly. I would tell you this. I think the only, the mock or the knock on them is maybe they don't care about points in that way, or they need to learn how to do points. But even in the ADCC rule set, they've given us some of the more exciting moments. Like, even if you go back to Gio with a triangle and getting power bombed by Jeff Glover, that dates back years, dude. Like, that's that's an iconic moment that even if you don't remember the match, you remember that. PJ having one of the best matches at ADCC. Keith being one of the best stories out of ADCC. The hard part
took out JT, man.
Absolutely. The thing that people forget in this whole grand scheme is you mentioned that only one person wins. And that's true. Yeah. But not that one person win is not always going to make the most compelling case. In order for ADCC to be compelling, you need multiple stories and multiple elements. And getting somebody with like that underdog mentality, I love the fact that we consider Keith an underdog in so many ways just because the odds seem against him. And yet at the same point, if you ever rolled with him, you would be dumbfounded to ever call that dude an underdog. So from the perception of, oh, they don't win, it's like, yeah, but you know them. And I think if you're saying that's the rule set, if you look at them on the submission only rule set, they're quite compelling, and things do change a little bit in that regard. So I don't know. I mean, I guess it just matters on what you value as a grappler. And if you only value success as a grappler, then yes, you will consider Gordon Ryan to always be your GOAT, right? Because the most. Okay.
Yeah.
But then what about Hodger? What about Marcelo? What about all these other people? You have to understand, most of the time when people use these monikers, it's to try and further an argument. And if it's Gordon himself, he's furthering an argument for himself. So when you ask this question to me, it's kind of like, I think there's a way to acknowledge what 10th Planet does, even if they don't win the big dance. And maybe, just maybe, it's a surprise that you don't see coming, because I think we've seen Keith the competitor, but I think maybe in 10 years, Keith the coach, or 15 years, Keith the coach, may be a force to contend with itself, because if he could do it and he's like, well, I'm just a little guy and who knows what I can do? Oh, man, I couldn't do any of this. It's like, well, then what happens? It's a blue chip and he teaches him all of his magic. So
yeah,
I'm just saying. Anyway.
There's so many guys like that, like you said, like Keith, that if guys went and trained with these guys and saw how good they were, and they're like, how are you not the best guy? You know, like, how are you not winning all these tournaments? There's so many guys I know like that. And I think another thing to be said about 10th Planet, I think honestly the biggest knock could be just in terms of the guys who only stick to that system. You've constantly seen, outside of maybe Geo, the guys who do best from 10th Planet are guys who study and are open to learning other things. You have a guy like Keith. When I met Keith, I think at the 2019 ADCC trials or 2018, whenever it was, the one that he went against Ethan. That was the first time I met Keith. I barely compete. And Keith, I was on the mats warming up with John. And Keith, he's like, oh, hi, nice to meet you, to me. And he's like, oh, I've seen some of your matches, man. And I'm like, this guy really studies jiu-jitsu. If he's seen some of my matches, like I competed at one professional show and he must have watched it as a blue belt. Like, and I'm like, this guy studies everyone and he watches everything. And you have a guy like PJ, same thing, came in from a wrestling background and does other things, not just the 10th Planet system. Guys who are open to doing other things in that system are the best guys in that system consistently.
Yeah. I'm just entertained by that. I see a note here from as well. So I feel like this is where you get, I wouldn't say a troll, but somebody who, I guess this is before you got here too. Okay. But they said, whatever happened to Eddie Cummings? And
I know the answer to this question.
I like the fact, I mean, here's the dumb part. Whenever I see posts like this, there's a part of me that goes, Eddie, is this you? Yourself?
It's definitely not Eddie. I'll tell you that much. Eddie doesn't want anyone knowing what happened to him, where he is, what he's doing.
God bless. Let him do it. I will say this, though. The last time I interviewed Eddie, I think this was 2018, somewhere in that region. It was a great interview. I enjoyed it. And I was like, hey, man, it was like a random fight to win in Cali. It was December. Yeah. And I went up to him and he's like, hey, man, what's up? And I was like, hey, not much. How are you doing? And he's like, cool. Man, you've been crushing it. You've been keeping things going. I love seeing your interviews. And I was like, you do stuff? Like, you watch this still? Like, the fact that wasn't an actual thing I would have ever thought about is I'm like, it's always nice when somebody says, hey, Raph, I like your work. I watch your interviews. But when he says it, I was like, dude, I think you just shut off completely because I know things about you. And he's like, no, dude, I keep up. So I was like, oh, well, that's cool. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. So it was a very sweet moment from him. But, you know.
What I could say about Eddie, he's a very interesting guy. He studies everything. He watches all jiu-jitsu. He always had, and he knows everyone in jiu-jitsu. He watches all the matches. He studies a lot. And he just kind of didn't want to be involved anymore. Went back to school, got a job, and that's all I'll say about that.
All good. And you know what? More power to him. I just like the idea that So many people like to be like, he's not doing jiu-jitsu. Is he okay? And I'm like, arguably probably better. Like, sometimes jiu-jitsu isn't the end all be all, everybody. Like, I know it's good, but it's always like, oh, he's not doing jiu-jitsu. Is he okay? And I go, are we okay? Like, I don't know, man. I think something's wrong with us. Someone got out. Good for them. But yes, so that's very cool to see. Colin just put out, but he said Nicky Ryan is having a great performance. Christian said big upset. And I think that was a little bit earlier. Oh, Mac did follow it up. He says, you can make the argument that Elizabeth Clay is powerful. Power number 1, no G. She has beaten Helena Field and Campos. And now Brianna St. Marie. I mean, Elizabeth Clay she's great on her own as well. Like, you'll always find somebody who can break the mold. I think the weird part is that we consider everything has to be a legacy, where getting the one person to win ADCC should be an achievement in itself. But now it's like we get used to, Danaher's got these guys, or B team are these guys. So I think as you see more and more people emerge, you're always going to have your standout gyms that are consistent and able to produce results. But as this sport becomes more popular, watching more people surprise you on what they're able to do. Or somebody who just stumbles upon a 10th Planet gym that you go, oh, you're the new John Blank. Shit.
Yeah, some guy just beat John Blank that I never heard of.
Yeah.
Some guy, never heard of him. Just submitted John Blank.
That dude's probably watching right now and being like, fuck these
Yeah,
guys.
I mean, no, I'm not being an asshole. I mean, he's just a guy I've never heard of before and went out there, submitted a guy who's very talented. So,
well, let's do this, sir. Let's take a momentary break from an update because I think we're about to see some very interesting things. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you're looking at what's coming up next, you've got Jacob Rodriguez versus William Tackett for third place. Kachuk versus Taza for third place. Krellinston versus Kikorian for third place. So we thought it was going to be a final. Oopsie daisy. It is your third place match. Still fire. And I notice here it says it's crazy because Eddie was the best leg locker in the world and he just stopped. Sure, man. I get it. I don't know what to tell you, man. He has a very strong place in this world of what he accomplished and what he did. There's not any taking that away. But, I don't know, man. I can't answer for him. I can just tell you that
and I won't.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's somewhere watching this and still making notes and still putting scientific equations on how people could have finished a knee bar better, but it is what it is. But Chris, let's take a momentary pause. And let's rejoin a little bit later after some other matches happen, sir.
Yeah, sure. I'll be around sometime during the finals or after.
Huzzah, sir. I'll talk to you a little bit later.
Bye.
Peace on out, sir. Good Lord. I just like the idea that people, whenever we're doing these shows, I think what happens is they watch so much Netflix. They're like, whatever happened to Eddie Cummings today on a very special Grappling Hour? We do a very special investigation. We talk to the people who knew Eddie best and those who hated him. I've also put it on blast, and I got Frank Rosenthal to agree to do this. But I said, eventually you guys are going to have to tell us why you split as the Danaher Death Squad. Like, we're going to do, not now, but like in 10 years.
Collision of different egos.
Sure, but they have to say that.
Yeah, of course. It's because it sounds pretty dumb. Like, that's the reason why you guys stopped being one of the most influential teams, because you guys couldn't share on one vision.
But what I'm saying is, people don't give those stories out the week after.
No, because it's gym drama.
They wait. Well, they know that they can market it. They can profit off of that. And I said, yeah, you will, 100%. Because in my brain, that is our sports Michael Jordan documentary. That is them, ESPN in 10 years being like, Danaher Death Squad, where did it go wrong?
It would, first of all, it'd probably be an ESPN 2.
I mean, I'm saying, give us some time. Maybe we get like a low-rated Thursday that we get a 30 for 30.
Our Olympics is in a freaking casino carpet ballroom.
Well, okay. I'll say this. There are some Olympic sports where they have some shitty trials too. I get it. It's just ours are more absurd because we ascribe so much prestige to it. And then you look at it and you go, so at its core, those dudes are wrestling on the carpet.
If this would be fine if the refs knew to not let them wrestle off the carpet.
Yeah.
We've done, how many events have we done where we don't let them suplex you off the stage? If we can stop it there, we can stop it here. They just choose not to.
I'm just glad that you're carrying it on. If we can stop it there, we can stop it everywhere. That's what we can do, guys.
Then they might as well try suplex people off stages then. Let's do that then.
But I think the larger point was that I told Frank, I was like, well, when we agree to do a documentary about y'all's breakup, I get first exclusive dibs. And he's like, oh, done. He's like, but I only want to appear as like a fat version of myself, akin to almost like a Dennis Rodman appearing in the documentary. And I was like, oh, bet we got that.
You'd be like, I was the one that made these guys stars, right?
No. If anything, it's going to be me going like, hey, you nerds, why did this happen? And I want to be the one to get the exclusive. I think this is very interesting. It's an LXB versus LXB kit. Yeah, Tackett knew. He's like, let me just attack the leg. I'm not going to waste time here. Let's just grab third and go home.
Yeah.
Ah, no. J-Rod hobbling a little bit. How do you think Khabib and other Sambo catch wrestling champions would do at ADCC trials? Khabib could do very well. I think my largest contention with Khabib has always been how would he fare with leg locks? And I think with amateur leg locks, well, hold on. Let's put a mat advisory. Mat 4 right now, because that's looking like a very solid attempt of a choke here by, I believe that's Ung, who's in on a little bit of a darce, but I don't know that it's finishing. It's just terrible looking in terms of that does not look like it's fun to be in. Yeah, it's one of the, especially when you see like somebody stuck in it for a long time, you go, you may not be choking from it, but I think your arm's turning a different color at this point. I think you're starting to show you're a little exhausted. Well, Bryce just recognized that he's like, never mind, in terms of his Keith Kokori and Ethan Krellinston final.
Yeah, that was unfortunate, but I get to see the match.
Yes, so going back to that, amateur leg lockers probably would get smashed by Khabib, but I feel like there's a handful of people who could surprise him. So I don't know.
Ethan goes, I'm gonna go shirtless.
Yeah, Ethan's like, fuck this. He's like, I'm going without the shirt on this one because now I'm super pissed. And I think I'll say that, I mean, Keith is pissed too, but I'll say this. I think there's no love lost as competitors between these two. I think they have respect for each other, and I think they're fine with each other. But I think this isn't even about third place. This is about, hey, I'm having my next match with you. Fuck you, dude.
Also, in their minds are probably going like, they probably thought this was going to be their final match today.
Potentially.
Like, oh, we're doing this earlier than we thought. But
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's tough to say. I just know that in one respect, Ethan is a guy who's like, fuck you, I want to show you who's boss. Yeah. And Keith is very much like a, hey man, don't fucking ever discount me. I'm still a fucking beast. Which I think makes for compelling narratives. And I mean, Keith is really, he's trying to attack this leg here. And Krellinston doing a good job placing the foot off. That might be enough to off balance him. And it does. Keith has a lock. He's looking for a heel hook here. He's putting it on Krellinston, and Krellinston not giving an inch here. Although I think if he's able to manage the distance here, he does. Oh, normally I would say Krellinston would be out, but I think he's a little stuck in this position.
Yeah, I think he knows, like, I can't just pull my leg out right now. Like, he's had a really good bite on it.
But it's a little bit of a split. Like, I think he knows in the past he might have gotten out of those things a little bit easier with Keith, but he is definitely taking his time on the escape. I think Keith is losing the grip, though. Maybe trying to slip here.
It's going to become a 50-50 fight for who has a better
Yeah. Oh, Keith is, yeah.
Had that huge advantage for a moment there, but now it's
I'm going to say this. I think Ung ended up winning that one by points. Congratulations to her. Keith switching off the leg, holding it very closely. Now Krellinston coming in with his own attack, abandons it, and they're both back up on their feet. Keith tries to go for a wrestle up. Now, as a result, may lose the position, trying to regard. He has to be very careful about Ethan. Ethan also has deadly leg attacks as well. It says, I think EBI and RAF definitely have to be a part of the DDS story. You helped them in the beginning blow up. That's very nice of you. Thank you.
Well, you helped show people that they had personality.
I think that definitely is part of it. Just being good at jiu-jitsu. I'll say this. My interviews with them were different. Yeah. And I think it probably in a good way.
Yeah, because they didn't talk like that to other people.
Never. Like, you can go back and watch those interviews and see, like, dude, they were so boring with some of their interviews. And even when they were trying to be entertaining, I was like, I don't think that's it yet. So that's very nice of you to say. Thank you, MacTube. Krellinston's not in mount, but he might have a back tick entry here. And that's honestly what I worry most about if he's attacking Keith. He is now, mount will count here. I believe Keith knows that it's close in terms of the points award, but he has the body triangle from mount. So they're going to reset him in that position. And I think that's going to be a tough one to navigate for young Keithington. Keith slightly frustrated. I think he knows he's only got 2 minutes and 33 seconds to work, which still is enough time. You've got Taza and Kachuk, which, by the way, could have been a final as well. Still monstrous. By the way, if you guys don't like and subscribe to this page, you're assholes. Period. Do it. We've been doing this stream for what? 18 hours now? Yeah, let's just say that. I would appreciate you guys like, subscribe, comment, all that sort of stuff. As you notice, you can ask me anything. I'll pretty much answer everything, especially if it's about grappling, of which I am happy to take your questions and give you the biggest answers that I can, because we've got the time. Uh-oh. Yeah, that back take is pretty dangerous, but goes back on over to mount. And you'll notice they never officially gave the points.
I guess because he was already in mount before the points started.
Was it? I thought it was right after, though.
They must have looked at it and goes, that was right at the time.
God damn it.
So this is actually a big benefit for
oh, it's huge for Keith. I think that's great. Low on points. I'm pissed as a human being who's had to try and do points tournaments where I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to get points with this bullshit?
I mean, wouldn't you have to go to like side control, then back to mount, and then you get points?
Maybe. I think the better pathway for Ethan at this point is to just go straight to getting the back.
Yeah, there's no point in trying to.
And look what he's trying to do right now. He is definitely seeing a gift wrap here, trying to muscle Keith over to his side. And yes, almost there. Keith, I think, knows it's coming, watching for the hooks coming in, trying to get his hips over, realizing it's either give that body triangle, move back. I think that difference of position, though, and this is why you see Keith rolling.
I've noticed with Keith,
he does have 3 points.
Like that, when he went against like Ben Eddy and all those other guys, he was really good at escaping the back control for overtime. Because he knows as soon as that starts, he just starts to roll. While most people will just kind of sit to the side and try to undo the hooks, he tries to get out immediately.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a bummer. Krellinston is going to likely be your third place winner in the negative 66 category. But, man, what a fucking bloodbath that whole category is. It says, is Ethan winning? The answer is yes. I was saying 3, and then he went up 2 more points. 5-zip
for what?
Against Keith.
Wasn't he already on the back?
Yeah, hold on. I think Keith's pretty pissed, though. I feel bad.
He's a dude that doesn't want to lose at all. He wants to win all the time. So
yeah.
Him not performing the way he wants to perform is always going to eat at him a little bit.
2 points. I'm trying to figure out if he got the 2 points from. Did he go over to the side and kind of like a side control sort of a thing at some point?
I don't remember him losing.
I don't either. I don't know.
Maybe he went from mount to back and then back to mount again?
Okay. Good question for the ages here. You guys can tell us how he got those points. I'm not going to spend time figuring out what it is I saw. I literally could have watched the match because I've been up for so many hours and just been like, you got points? I don't even know, dude. Couldn't tell you. Oh, my God. Kuchuk and Taza are going to finish out, and once they do, it looks like they're going to take... What do you mean they're experiencing technical issues? It's a fucking board. No, all it has to say over on that thing is just to let us know that, yes, we are likely all taking a break. I think they're taking a break. I think they're going to do finals at noon? Oh, no. MacTube. Is there any reason you stopped going to these events live and doing interviews instead of watching it? I miss your funny rapport with the fighters. Well, I think COVID kind of put a little bit of a strain on covering things. Like once COVID happened, we were all kind of like there were less events to go cover near me. And the ones that were the signature events, your EBIs, your combat jiu-jitsus, they went to Mexico. And, you know, I love covering these things, but it's way easier when it's down the street. And I'll be honest with you, even when it's 3 freeways away, sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I'm going. And I don't know, man. The hard part with ADCC is they're a little bitchy. I think they're better now. But when I was trying to do coverage, I definitely offered. And I want to say for 2019 ADCC, I had offered to go do on-site coverage. And both them and IBJJF were like, no. And I think if I had tried to just be a photographer, I think they were like, oh, okay. But usually I tried to combo it. I was like, I'll do photography so that I can do the interviews because I really want to do the interviews. And I think they like having the exclusive interviews into themselves. So pro-con was, con, I don't go to do them live. I don't get a good 10-minute interview out of it. But I've made the argument because they're like, well, we think that we covered enough. And I'm like, do you? But the pro of it is now as a result, I can Skype with the interview subjects or I can Zoom with them. And we do hour-long interviews. So that goes to my channel. And I'm quite enthralled. I love the hour-long interviews. But there's something about the immediacy of, yes, you just competed. As long as you have your wits about you and you're not like flash KO'd, I do want to talk to you. So after this event, I will definitely reach out to them. I know a couple of them, if they win, will likely not take the offer. Do you want to know why? You should subscribe to my channel and then I'll tell you why. No, I mean, I make sure that if I'm not doing live coverage at the event, that I do try to offer up so that we can give them the props for the hard work that they do. But I have a pretty consistent record. And for the past trials, I think we were able to get every single person. Even though I think the Rotolos did an interview with me in tandem last year. And that was a makeup for, they didn't give me an interview right after ADCC. They were just busy. And I get it. But we got them all. I definitely go to collect them all. Whatever happened to Budo Jake, he came back. He's doing, I think, rolled up now. So I think he's definitely in the arena. And it's good to see him because he does something different than what we do. And it always weirded me out because they were like, oh, yeah, Budo Jake loves what you do. And I was like, he knows who I am? Like, I don't assume any of that. But we've always been favorable, although we don't know each other personally. So I'm glad to see he's back. I welcome good content being made. And I'm very glad to see that he is around. And it says, are we down to one mat? I was driving. So, yeah, I think you're right. I think did they literally just kick everybody out? Yeah. Or did everybody just leave?
Well, I think they're like, maybe we're going to go to a break. And everyone's like, well, we're not going to stay here.
Or I was just wondering if they were going to do a quick, like, restaging the thing.
You're seeing it, man. You're seeing it live.
All right, here's what we're going to do, guys. We're going to take a break here, but on the schedule, it says that they will return for finals at noon. our time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. I think we may come back on a little bit earlier. If so, we may reach out to the correspondents and see if they want to chat for a little bit to kind of get us warmed up. But for this time, I don't see any reason to stay on the air. Not that I don't enjoy you or love you guys, but we're going to reset the stream anyway. I guess that's what I was going to say. But no, legitimately, I think we should all take a break. Everybody go eat, go use restrooms, go see a loved one for a few minutes, and then let's all resolve to come back here on this broadcast, and we will get through the finals together. Again, I appreciate you guys. I cannot say this enough. It is so much fun doing these broadcasts, and I love the lively questions and the fun, all of that sort of stuff. So do me a solid. Don't go anywhere until we finish getting through this together at noon, a little bit before noon, somewhere in there. Let's all group together and let's get through these finals. But let's take about 40 or so off, 45, and then let's check back in here. My name is Rafa Esparza. You are watching the Grappling Hour. We will finalize our coverage very shortly. But until then, I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you back in a little bit.